This episode of Limit Break Radio is made possible by our generous Patreon donors, including Justin Stormstrider of Sargatanis, Prismatic Illusion of Leviathan, and Alex Stryker of Quirl. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio.
And by introducing the Heidel and wide launch of Lords of Verminion Go! Verminion Go is the hottest game on the handheld Link Pearl market, featuring over 100 of your favorite Generation 1 minions, such as the Baby Bun, Pudgy Puck, and Wind-Up Moonbreeda. Travel to the aetherytes of the world to gather items, collect potions, and challenge dojos. Meet up with friends and trade your pocket minions. Clash against your rivals in epic duels. Hunt for adventure and profit using the Verminion Scanatron. All this and more when you immerse yourself in Lords of Verminion Go.
Some features of Lords of Verminion Go will be implemented at a later date. Some of these features include trading, battling, dueling, walking, talking, playing, paying, praying, and neighing. Not all Generation 1 Lords of Verminion minions are available, including but not limited to Heavy Hatchling, Poro Rogo, and Corporal Kirkid. Only play Lords of Verminion Go in public areas. Do not trespass while playing Lords of Verminion Go. Do not play Lords of Verminion Go while riding chocobos, operating heavy magitech, or flying airships. Remember to be alert at all times and stay aware of your surroundings. Do not enter dangerous dungeons while playing Lords of Verminion Go. Lords of Verminion Go is not compatible with the Google Shard 4. Please upgrade to the Google Shard 5 at your local Rowena Wireless today.
Live from Eorzea. Limit Break. With your hosts, Unhero.
Now behold the horror you have wrought.
Kahlo.
I said don't take your clothes off.
Juxtaposition.
I don't get it.
Ascalia.
Holy shit, totally forgot about him.
And Nika.
Oh my god.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio, episode 110.
Jesus.
Thanks for joining us live here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Glad to have you along on this Sunday. Let's kick it on over to our Eorzean studios. Nice opening shot there. If you'd like to join us in the studio, you can do so by hanging out over on Sargatanis. We're in the Goblet 5th Ward, plot number 30. Please join us if you want to be seen on Limit Break Radio. Pretty empty these days. You're not gonna have to fight very many people for seats in there.
You do have to fight Nika today, strangely.
That is weird.
Damn it, Nika.
She just took a seat in the audience.
Doesn't show up to the show, but logs her character on. Interesting choice.
To be fair, she never logs out.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, thanks for joining us here on Limit Break Radio. Glad to have you along. If you're listening on the podcast, you can feel free to join us on Sundays, starting at 4 p.m. here on twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Excited to have you along today. We've got a big episode because there's this video that has been making the rounds between it was all over social media for a minute, and then it
wasn't, and then it was gone,
and then it got taken down.
There's
and then
actually some people who are like, I haven't heard anything about a video. That's how good Square Enix has been at keeping this under wraps.
Yeah, Square Enix has actually been pretty what is it? I don't it's
diligent?
Diligent. That's a good word for
Vigilant?
it. About keeping up on making sure that this video doesn't make its way around.
But we got it.
We did. We had the foresight to download it when it was first put up, and
Juxta did that, so Square Enix, if you have to take action, it was Juxta.
That's right.
What? If you have to feel the need to ban a character for any reason, juxtaposition.
That's right.
On the
I'm sure this decision won't haunt you forever.
So, yeah, we've got the video here today. I'll be honest, though, we have struggled with whether or not to show the video in its entirety, to show it at all, or exactly how we should share it with you guys, because no other podcast is talking about this video at all. None of the other FF14 shows are talking about this video. They're all talking about the benchmark. Not the video not the DapMind video that the benchmark led to. Yes, exactly. Yep. So we're definitely going to talk about it. We're definitely going to walk you guys through it, and we'll share some of it here.
The chat is concerned it might be a Stinian again.
They're like, not sure if actual video or another LBR stunt.
Kidding, obviously.
It's definitely a stunt, but it's not fake.
I'm a fucking dragon over here.
I'm a fucking video over here.
Or is it?
It has, like, the thing is that I'm not going to be surprised if some of you guys, if you pay attention to a lot of FF14 news, I'm sure that some of you have seen this already. That's not the point. The point is that Square Enix clearly doesn't want this to stick around, but there is stuff to talk about and pick apart and dissect as we normally do here on the show. And we're going to continue to do that. We're not going to be scared off by the fact that Square Enix doesn't want this video to be seen.
You can't silence the truth!
That's right. We're definitely going to go through it here on the air, but we just don't know how much we're going to share just yet. So we're going to be talking about that, but we're also going to be taking your calls on Skype. Limit Break Radio, 810-515-8715 is the number to call. LimitBreakRadio.com/Discord if you'd like to join us on Discord, and we hope that you would, because this is definitely, there's some really interesting stuff in here in this video. So we're excited to be able to talk about it and share it at least in maybe a little bit here on the air. And by the way, if we get in trouble, this
is all your guys' fault.
That's right. Yeah, we're gonna blame we're gonna blame you, the audience, for egging us on.
It's not like we're any stranger to making SC a little upset with us.
Ragan says, guess the only contact LBR will get from SC will be from their legal department.
Yeah,
that was already the case.
I wouldn't be surprised if.
Well, sorry that nobody else has the balls to do it, Ragans. We aren't the heroes you guys deserve, but we're the ones you need.
How can you not talk about this video? Like, I honestly, if you're an FF14 podcast, how do you not talk about this video? This is one of the most revealing videos that has come out for Stormblood. And in fact, I mean, I understand why Square Enix
doesn't want you to talk about it.
Doesn't necessarily want this out there very much. But the thing is it's out there. Once it's out there, you cannot stop the fact.
Can't put the genie back in the bottle.
That's right.
Or my dick in my pants.
That's right.
Wait, what?
Wait.
All right. Theory.
You can do something about that, and I please wish you would.
Theory. Nika suddenly couldn't be here today so that she has plausible deniability when the rest of us get banned.
Nika, you chicken shit. Also, she's pregnant and having a baby.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that it? Sorry.
Well, I mean, that's part of it.
Oh.
That's canon. Anyway, by the way, if you haven't heard yet, we have started a new project called Checkpoint Radio. This is an actual radio show, and by the way, I want to we can welcome in 2 more new cities to the group: Rochester, New York, and San Diego, California. And the show actually premiered on both of those stations this week.
We did it, guys!
Yay! Good job!
But all right, you didn't do anything.
What are we talking about?
Checkpoint Radio.
No, what's he talking about?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
We got into, like, first of all, we finally have a good, time slot on the Eastern Seaboard. But San Diego and Rochester are
Eastern Seaboard? What are you, a 1930s ship captain?
but
scurvy the decks, I swam.
San Diego and Rochester, those are big areas.
Yeah. Both East and West Coast coverage in those 2 cities, which is pretty fucking awesome, I've got to say. And if you haven't taken the opportunity yet, after this show wraps up, we do a re-airing of Checkpoint Radio here on our Twitch stream
episode.
That's right. And so Kooky is going to be hosting the stream for that today. You can also catch that on our Shoutcast server. But we will eventually be putting out full on-demand episodes. That's starting this week of Checkpoint Radio. And then on top of that, we've also got the Checkpoint Podcast, which premiered this week. If you're subscribed to the LBR Podcast Network, then this has already showed up on your feed. If you haven't downloaded it yet, go ahead and download that. But we would also like to encourage everyone to go and subscribe to the actual feed on iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play or wherever you find your podcasts. And if you do use Apple Music or iTunes, whatever you want to call it, leave us a little bit of a review, because it will help other people find the show. And the big deal with Checkpoint being that it's on Westwood One, we really want to show them that we've put together a strong product here, and that our fans are enthusiastic and want to listen to the things that we put out. So you can help us just by hitting that download button and checking out the show. So the Checkpoint Podcast is kind of going to serve as like our it's going to fit into the LBR Podcast Network as like the Checkpoint portion of the show. We're going to give you updates about what's on the show that week, give you a little bit of our opinion about each one of the talking points that we went over, and then give you an additional conversation to be found on the podcast. So starting this week, that's what you can find on the Checkpoint Radio Podcast. If you find it on your feed, download it. If you don't, go seek it out. checkpointradio.com is how you find it. So thank you to everyone who has been checking that out and who has been giving us such awesome feedback for that. And the way that we have this opportunity in front of us now is because of your support over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. And I really want to thank everyone who has been so supportive over at our Patreon page. You guys ensure the quality of this show. You guys ensure the quality of Final Encountercast, and you gave us the opportunity to be able to pursue something like Checkpoint. And hopefully that will end up giving us enough returns where we're going to be able to continue to build on the content that you guys already enjoy. All of our efforts to expand financially are always efforts to expand the business model and never really to line our own personal pockets. That's never been something that we have, that we've really allowed for ourselves. We pay ourselves. I insist on paying all of these very talented folks for their effort, for their time,
Except
and
Skro.
for their talent, except for Skro. Yeah, Skro doesn't get paid.
Because he doesn't have any talent.
That's right. We are a merit-based pay system, and because he has no merit, he gets no pay.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is that we've worked very, very hard on very, very minor margins to be able to take opportunities like Checkpoint Radio and make them a reality. And we're hoping that that's going to end up giving us more opportunities and more resources moving forward. But if you want to be a solution to how does Limit Break Radio continue to do shows and continue to produce the epic content that they do week over week, then you can do that by giving $1 or more. Set your monthly pledge amount over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. And we want to thank all of the LB Army members that have already done that. Kahlo's Postcards from Eorzea is a $20 a month pledge. Kahlo, do you have an update for this? Please tell me you have an update for this.
Yeah.
Good.
They've been sent out.
Yes, the most recent one has been sent out. It is Bach, our demon piano player that you see in the back
pianist.
of the that you see in the back.
Did you call him the penis?
The pianist.
Pianist.
Yeah. That's in the back of our studio there. Apple Nectar, who's been a long time listener to the show, is our artist for this next set, and awesome! She did a great job with this one. There's even Makote butt in it. So.
Oh,
what?
Yeah, there's Makote butt in it.
That'll be a hot seller.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Spoilers.
Where can they see the art? Can they see a preview of the artwork?
I'm pretty sure that I sent a preview with our little watermark over top of it to Kooky, so that would be on Kooky at this point.
Okay, so
Kooky, get to work.
If it's not there yet, at some point you're going to be able to go over to facebook.com/Limit Break Radio, twitter.com/Limit Break Radio.
Get back to work, slave.
And be able to to check out a preview of that. Of course, that's $20 a month over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio to get our exclusive postcards from Eorzea. And who's going to be next for May, man?
I haven't decided yet. I'm going to have to talk with Apple and see how far she is along on them, but I'm thinking that it's either going to be Pops or Skuro.
Yeah. I mean, Pops is cool.
No, the Skuro one, I promise it's going to be more than humiliating.
It's not going to be weird, though.
Oh, it's going to be super weird.
Oh, it's going to...
It's going to be super weird and humiliating.
I mean...
That thing's going to haunt him. Like, people are going to come up and ask him to autograph it, and he's going to feel shame.
Whatever it is, it needs to be his avatar for everything.
Does Skuro feel shame?
Oh, he will after this. I promise you.
I've just never seen any hint of it.
Yeah, it is a good question. I mean, I wondered myself for a while, and then we got to Vegas and we had the party, and that confirmed no, he doesn't.
Well, do you remember the time
he put the dildo in his mouth?
Do you remember the time that he confirmed the Darth Jar Jar theory? He felt a lot of shame for that.
Fair, he did.
I don't know that. I don't know that was shame. I think that was just embarrassment that he had been caught. That's all.
I've got about 1,000 memories of your dumb little ass, and about 6 of them are pleasant.
That's true.
I'd say no.
On average,
6 is a lot.
Okay. You're right. That's being generous.
All right, how about this? The next one will be either Senpai or Pops.
Okay. All right, that's good.
And then they get Skuro anyway. Assholes.
6 weeks are remaining until the release of Stormblood. We're closing in. We're closing in, finally.
And I'd like to
Less
point
than
out...
2 months. It's about time.
I'd like to point out that we've been fucking killing it with our shows, too.
I know. I mean, last week's interview, I gotta say,
Get hype!
that was such a good get.
Donation bomb on news.
Oh.
Sevo, Kevo.
What did it say?
Donation bomb on news. He was trying to time it out.
He was trying to hit the news intro.
I thought you were getting ready to go into news. I thought you were getting ready to go into the news also.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. Good try. Good try. Didn't get it, though. Anyway.
Speaking of the interview from last week, though, I've been looking at some reviews, and Please Look Forward to It Radio says the Estinian interview that LBR did is likened to ear rape.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. That's a little hard.
There was some legit
good luck
vitriol.
Good luck ever getting anyone official from Final Fantasy XIV on your show. Please look forward to it.
Radio.
There was some vitriol in the chat.
Oh, yeah,
some people might have been a little mad.
A little bit. All right, let's check out what's going on in FF14 news.
This is a Limit Breaking News Update.
Yeah, that's right. I always keep you guessing. Never know when it's going to come. Who's this weird Lala in front of Juxta here?
Whoa!
Wow.
That Lala's putting the crotch all over your face.
Yeah.
Kids know dick.
You know dick. After this, close encounter of the Lala kind.
Seriously, jeez.
I hope you enjoy your lollipop there.
It really is.
You have nothing to say back to this?
Well, what can I do? I can't, it's not like I can move away.
Got to take a look at the pre-order bonuses for Stormblood this week, including the Red Mage Minion.
Yay!
Alamegan earrings. And a PlayStation Store theme. Why?
This is actually the worst pre-order bonus ever.
What?
Actually,
the theme?
The theme's not that bad.
The theme is actually really cool. I was actually
pretty cool.
Kind of considering ordering the Stormblood for PlayStation 4 to get that theme because it's pretty cool. It's animated and does cool.
Yeah,
things.
I mean, I guess, but just seems.
I don't know.
Like earrings.
Oh yeah, the earrings is terrible.
Yeah. No, the earrings. I can't even tell what the earrings are supposed to look like. They're just okay, yeah, they're Alamegan earrings, but why are they Alamegan earrings?
What makes them Alamegan?
Yeah, the little crest on them.
It looks like a wyvern on it.
No, it doesn't. Shut up.
It kind of does.
I don't think it does. I to be fair, I mean, that could be the inside of a rectum for all I know. I have no idea. It looks just like a gray blob.
I feel like the only good thing about the pre-ordering is the Red Mage Minion, especially for anyone, going into Stormblood who wants to play Red Mage. If they want that minion for themselves,
okay, guys, it's a pre-order bonus. So it's not like you're going to get something really cool. You're going to buy the game anyway, so you might as well just pre-order it.
I don't know know, dude. There are still a lot of people that get super butthurt over the fact that they can't get the Kate Sith minion because it was a pre-order bonus for A Realm Reborn.
So there you go. So fucking pre-order.
So all you need is like just one really good minion or mount or something. I think that maybe that's it. The fact there isn't a mount.
Did you
Was
get
there
a mount?
for Heaven's Ward?
Maybe not for pre-ordering.
Wait,
but-
wasn't there the Goo? No, that was for playing 1.0. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
think there was.
I don't think there was.
No.
I don't think there was. Yeah. By the way, so Tokyo Tower for one night was turned into the Crystal Tower. Did you guys check that out?
Cool.
That's pretty cool. Let me get this on screen for you guys. But
I know that they had set up it. They like opened a shop at the base of it that sold like exclusive goods.
No,
Really?
Like Final Fantasy related
What?
stuff. Yeah.
What was there? Thanks.
Just what the article said. There were exclusive goods. They didn't give me a list.
Yeah, here we go. We can take a look at that. Really, this is just changing the color of the lights.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
That
that.
was kind of lame.
It's not that big of a deal. And then there was, I guess, swag that you could buy too. But I mean, Final Fantasy showing that it's really going all out for the 30th anniversary. And I mean, I think that this is kind of a cool little thing to do.
Yeah. See, there's the goods.
There it is. There's a whole wall
There's like
full of
plushies and stuff. Obviously.
Yeah, it's like your traditional Square Enix merch.
The poster's actually kind of cool looking.
That's not bad. I don't know. It's all right.
I'd
But-
be excited about it if it had happened here, I guess.
No, what? You didn't want to fly all the way over to Japan for this?
Not for that, no.
I mean, it is sort of like one of those things like at the auto show where they projected the bat signal onto the side of the Renaissance
The
Center.
GM Center.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
Actually, last weekend when me and Juxta were leaving, it was super, super foggy out, and it made the GM Center look like it was out of Gotham.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad place to try to, kind of like halfway model into Gotham. Like, that's not... They definitely kind of had the right idea going there. Same thing here with the Tokyo Tower, just, kind of cute. There was a developer blog storming the dungeons, and...
They basically just want to let us know that their developers are testing the dungeons.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, we kind of figured that you would
We
do
hope,
that.
we hope that you would.
Is that a special? That's a special event?
Well,
Yoshi comes in and he's like, I need 4 of you. We're actually going to test the dungeons this time. We're going to make a big deal about it so I think we're doing work.
I mean, we did get to see a little
yeah.
bit of a preview.
You know what this is after? Is after the video was leaked.
Did this come after that?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, 5/4/2017, it sure did.
So this
yeah.
might be like, oh, yeah, this is the stuff thing.
Don't go looking for that video. It's
Although,
right here in these screenshots.
I mean, the first screenshot, yes, that there is definitely some overlap with the video that we'll take a look at.
They also mentioned Asuna and Cleric Stance, something, redacted, something.
Yeah. So
Everyone's being like, oh, Cleric Stance and Asuna are getting removed. No, you idiots. They're just going to be moved to the role-specific abilities.
Or streamlined in some way.
Yeah.
we also got to take a look at 2 zones here that were not featured anywhere in the video that we'll take a look at in a little bit.
That first one.
That first one. I'm not sure what's going on with the flags being tied between rocks, but it kind of looks
like a Chocobo racetrack.
It does. It
It
does.
kind of reminds me sort of Calm Lands-ish sort of too.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone's doing their laundry.
Shut up.
That could be it too.
Shut up.
I don't know what to think about that one. And then, of course, we get kind of what you would assume. I look at this.
Garlean.
I look at it and I assume automatically that that's a dungeon.
Yeah.
I don't see the other 2 necessarily as dungeons. I believe it. If somebody told me they were, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I look at it and I feel like I just fought Alexander there.
Yeah.
What, Blue Alexander?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Lighting is just slightly different. That's only about it.
Shade it down a bit.
There you go. That was the developer blog. And we also got another developer blog.
Release the D?
Yeah.
Release the D.
Thank you. Thanks for... could you have even, like, tried to make that into a joke?
That's just the only thing I can see from this angle. Release the D.
Or cock.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I was going to say, with all the drops you have relating to penises, it took you that long.
And basically, we're getting the D mark.
Instead of A prime, B prime, C prime.
That's right.
Oh. Well, that's disappointing.
Square Enix is giving us the D, guys.
Well, why should this expansion be any different?
I don't know.
Also, cup noodles.
Because why? Because why?
To show that the developers are eating.
Okay.
I highly recommend trying out the curry-flavored cup noodle if you ever have the chance, according to them.
So, Square Enix has been doing a thing on Instagram.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know if they're trying to increase their Instagram profile or what, but they have been going and progressively releasing, piece by piece, a promo image for Stormblood. We're going to take a look at what exists of the image thus far. There's still 2 days.
Oh, 1 day, actually.
1 day.
Yeah, looks like 1 day.
Yep.
Still 1 day that needs to be completed.
SC gives us the D better than that Lala giving Juxta the D.
Fair enough. That Lala was really giving you the D pretty good.
But now you have gonorrhea.
No, I think you have gonorrhea.
Yeah, you definitely have gonorrhea now.
So let's take a closer look at this still here. I feel like this probably has some Easter eggs.
Juxta must love Mr. Face's D in the game right now.
Holy crap.
Oh my god.
That's 10,000.
10,000 bits.
That's a lot of bits.
Maximum bit.
Thank you, Sevo.
Yeah, wow.
That's awesome. I've never seen that animation.
I haven't seen that one either.
Red.
Just kind of want to let it go there for a second. Taking a look at this image, I feel like they do hide some Easter eggs in these, specifically these images.
Yeah, because this is more than just like a strategy meeting. I think it was Jux behind the scenes pointed out that it kind of seems like they're playing some type of like tabletop
game?
tactical
It does.
D&D thing.
Okay, yeah,
Knights and knaves.
we can start there. Knights and knaves. Shut up. That's your own fucking headcanon, right? Isn't it?
You think so, do you?
Is it?
Apparently, you don't walk around Ishgard listening to random commoners' speech bubbles.
No,
You're correct. I don't do that.
You're absolutely right. I don't do that, you RP freak.
Yeah,
God, go back to Balmung where you belong.
Dirty.
It's not Balmung. It's just walking around listening to people. It's more creeper than Balmung. Oh,
See,
well.
Juxta.
Okay, fair enough.
See,
All right.
Estinian was right. Juxta is a dirty birdie. Telling you. That guy knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Wet the beak.
That's right. There does seem to be some kind of board game that's going on here in the center.
So maybe this is going to be the Lords of Verminion equivalent for Stormblood, but hopefully it'll be good.
How?
Or
I don't know.
What if it's that one thing from 1.0?
What one thing? You gotta give us more than that.
Yeah.
That awful system where it was like a
You're gonna have
fate
to give us a little bit
that
more
like
than
took 3 days to do. Hamlet?
Parlay?
Hamlet defense?
No. What?
Carletta's saying Parlay is coming back?
Parlay?
What's Parlay?
I have no idea. Anyway, so we have on this side of the table the awful combination of 2 Lalas and an Ora who's a bard.
Well, they're always hot, though.
Are we getting,
yes, but they're insufferable.
She's playing harp.
I mean, yeah.
That's a harp bow,
To
okay?
be
We've had those.
fair, Aniro, you think everything's insufferable.
Okay, yeah. I guess that's kind of fair. We've got the Lancer over here. That looks like some newer design gear-ish.
Not really.
No, you're wrong.
The weapon maybe, but the
weapon for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, but look behind the Lancer in the tent next to the Chocobo, like inside that tent way back there. Color may strange, but because it's next to the Lancer, could that possibly be a wyvern pet?
Kill yourself. God.
I really had no idea where he was going with that.
I think you're right, Juxta. I totally see it. I totally see it.
It's like got the mouth, or maybe it's a butt, or just a limb. Like really could be.
It has wyverns now have cloacas, except they don't just serve as genitals and the way that you poop. It is also their mouths as well. It's just all one orifice.
Ooh.
Everything goes in and out.
I was unaware that they pooped through those. I just thought it was for fucking.
Oh my
Jesus.
Anyway, so we've got the Makote sitting next to the Lancer.
Clearly a red mage.
Yeah, I mean, what makes you say that?
It's red. That blue thing right there, that could be like the little crystal-y thing they hold in their hands.
I don't think that any of that's right.
No.
It's a Mikote.
No.
I mean,
with white hair.
And that makes it a red mage somehow?
Yeah, because he was the red mage in the little trailer thing was a Mikote with white hair.
So the little side braid and that pose sitting on the table screams Naja Salahim to me, and it's bugging me.
Kaze says, guys, it's drawn in the Final Fantasy Tactics art, so this is probably a reference to Ivalice. Maybe we're planning out our advance into Ivalice here.
No, all of the art is remarkably similar to one another. I mean, yeah, it may. Everything is sort of slightly tactics influenced. I mean, look at the art book. If you've ever sat down and leafed your way through the FF14 art book, you'll see it there. I mean, this style does not deviate from what is in that already.
Yeah,
so,
most FF art's usually pretty.
We've got this sort of bookish scholar over here. Weird armor though. I mean, the armor on the outside sort of looked like blue magey.
Yeah, but she's got a collared shirt and a tie.
On. What is that?
Yeah, like
scholar.
Yeah, she's got like the fucking Lord Dark helmet from the neck down with his weird ass tie.
Oh my god.
Can we tell where the location is? Someone's saying that's Railger's Reach outside there.
It could be. I mean, you've got the high walls. Yeah, I see it.
Billion places.
It could be. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty nondescript tent. It's a tent city. We don't even see the Aetheryte like in other concept sketches. And now keep in mind, I mean, you know, when you break down the concept sketches from like 1.0, you had like the one kid who has the horns in there, the seed seer, and people thought that was going to be a playable race when that first came out. So I mean, you know, theorizing is just that. It's theorizing.
Relic says that the post actually asks, "Have you guessed where they are?" Which could indicate that the location actually is important and plays some relevance to something or other.
Could be. I'm going to guess Railger's Reach just because of the high walls and the tent encampment.
Okay, but hold on. On the tents in the background, they got those weird, like, ball-looking things, kind of like where, I don't know, I guess Middle Eastern places would. I think of, like, Aladdin, like, in the...
It does. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of, like, Odd Urgon influence from 11. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see that. I don't know if that's an indication of where it is necessarily on the map, but if I had to guess, I would say Railger's Reach.
That blue clothed person is clearly a Vieira.
No.
What? I was just speaking from every moron on Facebook that thinks that person is a Vieira.
I'm sorry.
Because you can't see the ears yet?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, she's got the straight
Shut the fuck up.
And because the tail is kind of curved.
And if they are an Ivalice, that's going to be the final nail in the coffin. Oh my god, you guys just upset a Nero so much.
She's got the straight up Mikote tattoos on the side of her face.
He is double face palming.
Out of here.
Double face palm.
Are you fucking kidding me?
It makes so much sense though that'd be the last thing they reveal.
No, that literally makes no sense. And if you believe it, you're a fucking idiot.
If it's true, will you vomit?
It's not true. I would put anything on it.
Anything?
Anything. It's not. That's a Makote.
If that is a Vieira, will you suck Ascalia's dick?
No.
Wow, you went that.
Why is that straight there?
Why is that something that you want to see?
I didn't say I want to see. I just said, will you do it?
You made this weird. You took it to a weird place. Good job.
Do you not want to be
you're the weirdo.
See, I was just going to make a bet where one of us had to level a job we'd never level, but you fucked that up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Way to go.
Weirdo.
You made the whole thing weird.
Take off your clothes.
No, and stop asking. Not going to take off my clothes.
Please.
No.
I like that people in the chat here are trying to justify why that's not a Viera using in-game things. Like, that is a Makote specific haircut, so there's no way they'd put it on a Viera. That's not even in the game. Melkyria, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, did you not realize that Viera and Mikote are going to share hairstyles? Makiria, use your head.
That is the dumbest theory that I've ever heard. So anyway, I think that's the bulk of
There's also probably
theory crafting that we can
Dark Knight.
I mean, yeah,
you can't see it all.
I would think that it may be a paladin because that looks like a shield on his back. That's what I'm going to say.
It could be a sword.
You know what? I really hope that's a Viera because it looks like she's the one doing the talking, like she's pointing to something, like they came to Evilis, she's their guide, and she's like telling them about stuff.
Can we?
I'm sold.
Can we stop? Can we stop? I need to not remember that Evilis is going to be a setting coming up in Stormblood.
Is that ruining things for you?
A little bit.
We're going to Evilis.
I know
the
that.
land without noses.
What?
In Final Fantasy Tactics, like all the art, nobody has any noses.
That is true.
Yep.
So clearly this image is not from Evilis because they all have noses.
All right, debunked. I gotcha.
Debunked.
Yep.
Sorry.
So, real quick, before we move on here, apparently, according to someone on Twitter named Avalon Star, that FF14 channels were being raided by 4chan Reddit.
Really?
Earlier this week? Yeah.
Why would they care about 14?
If you're streaming FF14 or talk shows, there have been multiple reports of people being hit by 4chan/Reddit raids. Protect yourself.
All right. Well, first of all, Mr. Avalon Star, we're Limit Break Radio. We've defeated Reddit on multiple occasions so far.
That's
we are
right.
Not afraid.
That's right.
That said, how many views does an FF14 channel have right now that it's worth rating?
That's what I don't understand.
Hey, those 27 people who are watching Final Fantasy 14 right now will be very disturbed.
I don't know. I feel a little bit left out. I mean,
right.
We didn't get raided.
I know. I'm a little sad. I'm a little...
Kooky, look, normally I don't tell you how to do your job because you're doing it very well, but you're using like backslashes and forward slashes, and I need you to commit to one and do it, please. Thank you.
Only forward slashes. Only idiots use backslashes, please.
Listen, I have to be honest. I know that our trolls have tried pretty hard in the last couple of weeks.
Hard, okay.
But I don't know. I feel a little bit slighted by this.
They're player haters.
They are player haters. I'm bummed out, guys.
Guys, I'm bummed out.
I am.
Guys.
He's the only person I know who gets upset that trolls don't attack him.
I know.
Because we don't get good ones.
I know.
That's the thing, is that we never get good ones.
Here's the thing. How many good trolls are there, really? I know of one group now in Elite Dangerous, and that's kind of it.
Excuse you?
Goon Squad's usually pretty good at trolling, right?
I'm sitting right here, you guys.
I stand by it. You used to be a good troll, but you're a has-been.
It's like ever since he actually became a real host, his troll quality just dropped.
I'm just kind of I just don't understand what bone 4chan had to pick with
Final Fantasy 14.
That's right. Who said something to piss 4chan off?
Notorious BLT says, "Listen, I love you guys, but don't fuck with 4chan. Those guys are crazy."
I want to know what set them off. What provoked them to get involved with FF14?
I know it's not. I mean, come on. We're obviously the biggest motivating force in Final Fantasy 14, and if we didn't do it, like, who else would have spurred something like that on?
I know. It's a little bit of a bummer. I gotta say, it's a little bit of a bummer. But again, this is why this show is like Teflon. No one fucks with it. I mean, there was Nero as Trump, and it was just
come on.
God, that was so bad. It was such a sad attempt, and I mean, it was on its like 5th week too.
Oh.
And put up with that shit for 5 weeks,
and through that whole time,
and it never changed. It was the same shit over and over again.
Yeah. We actively encouraged him to try harder,
and that was the thing, is that I think in the end it was just like we ended up we ended up nuking Nero as Trump just because he was a bad troll. Like, he was an uninspired, boring troll.
We told him to try harder, so he turned the caps lock on.
Right.
Stop using that shift key.
But I really want to know, what is it that set 4chan off? Did someone defend a girl from the FF14 community? Did someone try to defend a minority? What happened?
Maybe that's why we're okay, because we make fun of everyone.
Maybe. I mean, that's the thing, is that 4chan never, and I mean never, picks on anyone who can defend themselves. I think that's the saddest part of it, is that they never pick on anyone who can fight back, who can fucking hit back. It's always people who they think they can get one up on. That's, to me, that's the sign of a bad troll. That puts you in the territory of a Nero is Trump. A Nero is Trump just broke on our willingness to fuck around with it. And eventually, he ended up caving. None of these guys, none of these 4chan guys would even bother. They'd come here and they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is... I kind of get this.
Do we even remember the last time we had a decent troll?
Guildwork? ERP. Yeah, it might have been back in the Guildwork days.
Toilet ERP.
Toilet ERP.
Yeah,
Toilet
there's some good ones, yeah.
ERP.
Good times.
Speaking of which, by the way, Juxta, I wanted to talk to you about this.
About
toilet ERP? Finally. No. Oh.
My dreams have come true.
No, I wanted...
Emphasis on come?
Because you had mentioned Guildwork, and that was the last time that we had a good troll, but you had made this interesting Venn diagram.
Okay, well, hold on. Beforehand,
that made its way around.
Don't give him credit for
the
that.
idea was mine, but Kooky put in all the work.
Okay.
I mean, I mostly was the brains behind it, but Kooky did all the legwork and made it look good because I couldn't do that.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So here we've got the Venn diagram of FF14 podcasts and shows.
Mm-hmm. Can you explain to us? I mean, you are a resident accountant, so when it comes to scientifical things like this, you're the professor.
And I mean, do you think science and accounting are like connected or related somehow?
They're both stupid things. So
More importantly, do you think scientifical is a word?
It is now. Can you explain this Venn diagram to us?
Scientifical.
All right. Well, scientifically, it's got the three circles. One's entertaining. One is informative, and the last one is good.
Can you clarify
what is good
what
exactly?
Good means?
Yeah.
Because I don't think we're the good guys. We're like the bad boys.
No, like production values, like how good it actually sounds.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah,
I think what it's trying to hint at is you can have a show that's informative and is still unbearable to listen to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Sure.
Like all the other ones.
So
no, clearly not. I mean, if you look at the diagram,
it's all over the place.
I mean, yeah, we share space with Musecast. That's not one that I know.
Musecast. That's one I learned when I was creating the thought process behind this. Apparently, they're an exclusive RP podcast. So the reason I put them under entertaining and good was because they actually sounded good. They had guests all the time on their show, and the guests sounded good. So it was like a really good sounding podcast, and it was really entertaining for some people.
Not only do we share a circle, we actually share a specific overlap with a podcast dedicated to role-playing.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because I saw this come out, and I know who Musecast is. And I'm just like,
horseshoe.
I'm like, that's interesting that you'd put them in the same spot as us.
Well, no,
clearly, Nero did not make this.
No, okay. See, that's the thing. Like, just because, we're obviously the opposite of each other, right? But,
sure.
But content-wise, we're the opposite. But in reality, we're a lot closer than you think because we obviously have lots of production value and we're very entertaining. People who like ERP would enjoy the Musecast.
Specifically ERP.
Yeah, well...
I think any RP. They're more general RP, not ERP, but okay.
Sorry, whenever I say
no,
RP,
that was accurate. That was accurate. Just keep going with it.
Okay, right. So, but yeah, I mean, we're basically two peas in a pod. Just one pea is rotted and distorted and corrupted, and the other one is ERP.
Now, Lloyd,
the sexual really.
Now, Lloyd in our chat room brings up a really good question. Why isn't LBR in the middle?
Because we're not informative, you idiots.
That's right.
What kind of information do we bring to you?
Yeah, we regularly tell you guys we are not a news program.
Yeah, you're not really
not what you're here for.
You're not. This is not designed to be taken seriously.
Yeah, and actually, the only problem I have with this is that the center is supposed to be like a black hole of nothingness because nothing can ever be these three. You have to pick two of them at most. Some of them don't even get that, like Aetherite Radio, not entertaining, not good. They just have information.
Damn.
All right, you know what? Since you went there, I want to point out that
harsh.
My favorite fallout or reply to this whole thing was how...
Because, by the way, people immediately assume we're talking shit.
Oh, absolutely.
Which, when you actually look at it, you're like, okay, no, most of this you can actually justify. Like most, it wasn't arbitrary where the placement was.
We thought about this,
and I think we also gave ourselves a fair placement in it too.
Yeah. So when this first came out, one of the first people to reply to it on Twitter was our friend Fusion Y.
Of course,
that's being kind of generous.
Yep.
Not really friendly.
And he seemed very passive aggressive, and he's like, "What does good mean?" And I think it was Kooky who was replying to him. She's like, it refers to the quality of the show. He's like, well,
production.
Yeah, like what you said, which I think, we definitely have some of the best production in the biz. And he seemed like, well, how come quality, which is like, an actual thing, where the other two are kind of genres, And Kooky's just like, so let's keep it good then. just something about him seemed a little butthurt, a little bit.
Just a bit.
Don't worry, Fusion. You're good.
I like how the closest logo that gets to the center, that all coveted center, is actually the most appropriate, which is Ethis Asher.
Yeah.
Ethis Asher, if you look, is the closest. Because I even think a corner of his is touching that center part.
Black hole.
Is
just
touching
the tip.
And the thing is I think that's totally justified.
I think it's legit. If we were going to give the center spot to someone, which we're not,
because that's a black hole, you can't be there.
But I think,
die.
Ethis' show is about as close as you get to hitting all three of the points.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, if he wasn't Australian, he might actually be able to get in there.
He's not anymore. He lives here now.
He still has the accent.
It's holding you back, buddy. Just saying.
And I actually have a one issue with the Venn diagram as a whole is I would move State of the Realm to hang out with Aetherite Radio, because I listened to the most recent episode, and like Happy is super quiet, but all of his guests are super loud, and there's long pauses and stuff. I mean, it's like you're not good anymore. You gotta go to Aetherite Radio territory.
He did just have that email interview with Yoshi. I think they peaked.
You think so?
I think so.
They peaked earlier than that.
But
when we were on the show,
I would say here's the problem: is they've had us on the show before, so
that was a reverse peak. That was the valley.
There you go.
Bottomed out.
Look, this was just a little bit of fun from us to just throw some.
It sparks some
get
conversation.
some content out there.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit. Have
Nobody
some
else
fun.
is doing it.
Expand our social media profile,
and people learned about new shows.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knew that Sequence Break existed. That's the blue one and entertaining because they're not informative or good.
Damn. Juxta just throwing all kinds of shit.
See, here's what happened: is I called him a has-been earlier as a troll, and now he's trying to step up.
Is that what it is?
No. Okay, for starters, use your fucking time logic, because this happened on Monday.
Logic?
Yeah.
Is that like bird law? Is time logic anything like bird law?
Hold on, I'm sure he has a very scientific explanation for what time logic is.
Oh,
Juxta,
good. Yes, more scientifical explanations.
the floor is yours.
Jesus.
It's clearly logic that exists within the realm of time. Duh. There's many kinds of logic, like math logic, food logic, like don't eat where you shit, food logic. Time logic is under the same principle.
That's food logic? Oh, you know what?
Not?
I think that's hygiene
Do I need
logic.
to become a logic teacher?
Because I'm sure that Juxta has never walked in to take a shit while eating popcorn or a snack or something.
Well, I said it's logic. You don't always follow the rules of logic.
Don't eat where you shit. Food logic.
Like it just makes sense to me that he's sitting there and he's like, shit goes out, candy goes in. Shit goes out, candy goes in.
No, what I think it was, how he learned this lesson? He was eating burritos on the toilet, and it only takes one little bit of hot sauce to get on your Jimmy to learn that that's not an appropriate place to be eating burritos.
To get on your Jimmy.
Is that it? Did you get hot sauce on your penis?
It burns sometimes.
It does.
Jackson, do you eat hot sauce?
Sometimes.
Oh?
Not when I'm eating burritos,
Guys,
but quesadillas.
The problem he has, because he actually has a giant container of Burger King, what kind is it?
Hot mustard from McDonald's.
Sorry, the hot mustard from McDonald's. He just has like a bucket of the packets.
Why?
And hold on. When we go to McDonald's, he gets more. He gets as much as he can and adds to the bucket. We actually went through once and he's like, I need like 10 packets of this. And the lady gives him this look and I really want to be like, I don't know him, but I'm in the car with him. Like, I would have had to really commit to that and been like, he's kidnapping me. Please call the police.
What do you do with 10 packets of hot mustard?
He adds them to the bucket in case they ever stop making them.
Which they did before.
He's avoiding the Szechuan chicken sauce.
God forbid. Yeah, God forbid we have a repeat of the Szechuan chicken sauce.
And you know what? You go to Burger King, who has better nuggets than McDonald's. You want some McDonald's hot mustard to go with it. It makes sense.
This is food logic, guys.
Food logic. Stock up on your good condiments so you can have it with good food.
The worst thing is, I have seen him eat the hot mustard sauce. Just the sauce.
Oh! No.
Hungry. Go get a snack. Juxta.
Oh, that is so gross.
Like, he just opens it up and licks it out. It's like a money shot of hot mustard.
Oh.
Before people knew I did that, I would like bet people, be like, hey, if I eat this thing of hot mustard, will you give me $5? Like, sure. I'm like, sucker, $5.
That is fucking disgusting.
Have you tried the hot mustard?
Absolutely not.
It's so good.
Wait, who's your idiot friend giving you $5 for a packet of hot mustard?
Yeah.
The schlump.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow. Oh, what a
blast from the past.
Jesus. Oh, no, not the schlump.
That's all we got to say.
Yeah, no. Anyway, all right. I think that's it for FF14 news. Yeah,
6 weeks. 6 weeks.
6 weeks. So, all right, let's talk about this video. Before we play the video, I think we've got to explain a few things. The first thing is that we know for sure that Square Enix does not really want this out there.
Yeah.
We've seen evidence of it all week as this video has been pulled down no less than 4 times.
That's right. Yeah. We have seen, as Scalia mentioned, the video go up and down from a number of different YouTube accounts, and every time within 12 hours, it gets hit.
People were asking us to link this video, so we pointed, we don't have a link to the video. We had to download it.
That's right. We knew, and we kind of had a feeling, like when someone had passed it along, and I forget, it was someone during the Checkpoint live broadcast last week came in with it into the chat room and brought it with them, and I forget who it was, but I have to thank them because when we saw it, we knew immediately, oh, this is not going to hang around.
No. Oh, who made the original video?
Yeah.
I believe it was Sapphire 14.
It was FF14 Sapphire, something like that.
Yeah,
I think that may have been one of the original accounts that uploaded it.
Yes. That was the first one, if I'm not mistaken.
And so this has been, I think it's a very, first of all, it's a very interesting video. What it is someone figured out how to explore the DAT files that came packaged with the benchmark.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And was able to extract music out of there too. So we have to be remarkably careful with what we share here, because again, we were smart enough to know to grab the video, but obviously we don't want to upset Square Enix. You know what I mean? Like,
if they wanted to, They could just delete us.
That's the thing. Square Enix knows, and we know that they know that if Square,
and then we know that they know that we know that they know.
If Square Enix wanted to not deal with Limit Break Radio anymore, they could very easily do that. So we want to try to give them reasons not to do that, right? Like that makes sense.
This show is kind of important to us as a company.
Yeah,
and we don't really want to lose it.
Yeah. And not only that, but Square Enix, they make a good game. We don't necessarily want to upset them any.
Well, they make a game.
They made a good game.
They make
a game.
Okay.
I seriously considered making an alt to sit in the studio with on this for this episode.
Really?
Yeah. And then I was like,
you're
they probably know who I am.
Worried about it?
Yeah.
Really?
Listen, we've done some things to be antagonistic to SE. This is a little bit more than our usual level of antagonism.
Not to mention, since we're going on being like, yeah, we know it got taken down, we're going to show it anyway. It's like, fuck you.
Well, we're not going to show it, okay? We know we can't show it. We can't just show the
viewer
video.
count just dropped to 40.
Aw. That's too bad. Bye-bye. We know we can't show it. If we just straight up showed it, we would get in a ton of trouble.
Yeah.
The music from it is likewise unreleased music from Stormblood.
Yeah, we can't play it.
Don't think we could get away with playing that. But we do want to watch it and kind of give our opinions as it rolls. And what we're going to do, where we would pause it, right? Like whenever we watch a video on the show, people get very annoyed because we like to pause it and pick things apart. Daddy of Light is a really good example of this.
So that thing that you think is the most annoying, that's what we're going to show you.
That's right.
But you're going to like it this time because when we pause it, then you'll actually get to see it.
Okay, Carletta wants us to act it out. This is just landscapes, Carletta. They're just zones.
Yeah.
I am a canyon.
I mean, look, I know that Juxta could very easily be a mountain, but that's about as far as it goes.
No, I want to see Juxta do an interpretive dance of this video.
Show us what you would look like as the giant ramen bowl city. The fuck, it makes noise?
Well, you can't do an interpretive dance over the radio, you idiot.
So that's what your interpretive dance would sound like if it was interpreted into sounds?
If it was a ramen bowl, yes. How do you think a ramen bowl would be interpretive danced as?
We're waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, that was to me.
Yeah. I hand motioned you.
Are we really doing this?
You don't got it, do you? It's pretty hard.
Can we move on?
Yes.
Please.
Was that a voice crack that I just heard?
You bitch!
Did your voice just crack like you're going through puberty?
Yeah.
Good job.
Who's stupid now, bitch?
It's you.
You are.
You're the stupid one.
You didn't mean to crack your voice.
Oh, why you so angry?
Anyway, all right. So, this is the opening right here. Okay. So proof that we have it, guys.
Proof that we have the video and are watching it. This is not being made up.
That's
so
right.
many people think this is just a rehash of last week.
No,
it's not.
That's totally from Samurai Jack.
This is not. So
Look at the clouds. Those don't even look like clouds.
Those are not clouds.
Oh,
you stupid idiot!
All right, we got it. We're gonna take it off screen.
Okay.
All right. Goodbye.
All right. Here we go. So what we have discovered is that this is the underwater.
Oh shit!
This is the underwater portion of.
Well, no, that can't be right because the underwater portion is clearly going to be just a circle arena, Nero.
Nope. I was wrong, and I've never actually been so happy to be wrong. Now, what I think what we're supposed to imply now from the developer blog that we looked at earlier is that this is potentially a dungeon. Now, when I look at it, given that context, when I look at it now, this does seem very much like a linear dungeon.
Yeah.
So now instead of just a circle arena, it's just like a ball with like a stick coming out of it. So it's like a semen.
Yeah,
well, you can see here. This definitely does look like a corridor. That gate at the end is probably going to be the gate where either before the boss
the
room or
point.
Yeah, exactly.
Augur 17 says, if you're not going to show it, can you email it to me?
No, we can't.
We will not be responsible for disseminating this video.
Yes, exactly. We are not distributing this video. We are dissecting it for the information to be able to pass along to you, our audience, because that is what we value you. But we don't want to expose ourselves. We don't want to expose, expose Square Enix either. So we're trying to be respectful to everyone, not just you guys in the audience, but to Square Enix as well, and also protect our business.
That's right.
And you wouldn't want Juxta to expose himself.
On a completely
this is true.
unrelated note, I am setting up a private email listing that is a $5 to be able to opt into it. So get in contact with me.
No, that is not happening.
I said it's completely unrelated.
Now, please look forward to it. Actually brings up a good point. Underwater combat. I mean, we are underwater. If this is a dungeon, this is underwater combat, guys.
Okay, it's under the water, but there's not water in his zone.
I stick with please look forward to it. We're underwater and there's combat.
God damn it.
Okay, well, if you think about it then, aren't we always underwater if we, like, turn the whole Heidelin upside down?
Shut fuck God, what the... Oh my God!
Yes, if we turn the world upside down, we're all underwater.
What type of logic are you using there? It's
Geography
clearly
logic.
Geography.
Perspective logic.
In the realm of logic, he fights unarmed.
All right, let's continue on in this video here. So it does move down. Again, this does definitely look like a dungeon.
It's a long, winding path.
Very linear, although I do think that the underwater effects are very cool. We see another portion of some kind of city zone here with an aetheryte in the center. A bunch of, we've got a tent over here on this side, and then what looks like a more permanently standing structure on this side, and obviously the aetheryte in the center.
This city makes me think of a Doolin in FF11.
I'd say that that's fair. It is a little bit more heavily forested. It's kind of hard to see because it's a little bit dark, but you do see some trees here.
And just like the little curbs lining the walkways and the structure of the house back there or the building back there.
Yeah.
It makes me think of a Doolin.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. That's fair. But kind of unclear as to where exactly this is. This doesn't seem to be...
What's that architecture right there? The one that's lit up right in the center?
I don't know.
Because that's definitely new architecture.
That's not something that we've seen before.
Yeah, is it like a single freestanding thing? Is that built into the side of something?
It is very difficult to tell from this angle.
Because it kind of makes me think of like if you think of like Victorian era style stuff, how they have sunroofs, like little alcoves that kind of come out but are still windowed in.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. This area to me, one thing that stands out to me is the street lights.
Yeah,
that's new. Street lights in any zone?
That's brand new. No, we've never seen anything like that.
That is so interesting to me.
Is Doma more technologically advanced than us?
I mean,
possibly.
It's definitely got Garlean influence, which, I mean, the Garleans are definitely more technologically advanced than we are.
I kind of like getting this super early footage because, like, clearly there's more work to be done yet on all these zones.
Oh, definitely.
Nothing's done.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, all of these are unpopulated zones, too. They're just the DATs for the zones.
Yeah.
We have no idea, how sparse or not the population in any of these cities are going to be. But I think that this is, I like seeing early footage like this and the speculation that it ends up driving. Because that to me is far more interesting than just that having it told to you.
Now to people that are like LOLing us because some places like Limbs have had lanterns. Lantern and streetlights are completely different. Lanterns have to be lit every single night. Like back in the day, that used to be an actual job
that you have to do as an adventurer.
Yeah, this right here is like electricity. Those are like actual street lights, not just lamps.
Yeah, this
street lights, people. Oh
my God. No, this to me indicates a level of infrastructure. This is a developed town or city in some way. And this new building that's starting to pop into view here on the left with all the banks of window. Are those windows down the front of it?
It kind of, I'm not sure if those are windows or if that's just some type of weird plating, but you're right. Everything about this seems way more modern.
And to me, it doesn't look domen. From all the areas we've seen of the domen areas, it doesn't look domen, but I can't say it looks Alamegan either.
No,
and that
it
doesn't. That just might be the forest in the background making me feel that way. But this doesn't really look like Alamigo or Doma to me very much.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And this is actually probably one of the first little bits of insight or that I've gotten into the expansion that I don't want to say it hypes me, right? But, me and Anira were kind of worried that this whole expansion is just going to be this weeby Japanese type stuff. And though, yes, we have been reassured by Square Enix on multiple occasions that there are going to be many different types of architecture throughout the expansion, now that we're actually seeing it and how different it is, okay, cool.
I'm inclined to.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree with Taro, who says it's Garlean, part of Girabanya, and
that's
with Garlean tech. Yeah, because there is that bit that we have to push past the Black Shroud that is still very heavily forested, and we don't know how much of that ends up pushing towards Girabanya. We do have that one moment in the benchmark before we get pushed into the action of the Garlean and Eorzean confrontation that happens in that one scene where they're showing off all the different moves. I think that this may be that zone. I mean, each of the zones, they got to come from somewhere, right? They've got to come from somewhere in that benchmark. I think that's where this comes from. So we'll continue on here. There's also another.
Those look like windows up there to you, or just like plating?
That's definitely a roof right there on the structure. But again, it definitely has a more of an industrial vibe than any of the other cities that we've seen before them. Old Dot has a whole lot of very fancy stonework and masonry that went into it. Gridania looks like it was carved out of the dirt. And
Limsa says the remains of a shipyard, basically.
Yeah, and this is something totally different. This is far more industrial. This is the structures seem less rooted in aesthetics and more practicality. This structure back here, it looks more like like a pole barn or, a prefab structure that was brought in.
This seems to me like it could be a city that is it's there to support the soldiers who have to man the wall, Baelsar's wall.
By the way, I think someone may have included.
They did. They just posted a link.
There we go. Yeah. So if you want to follow along, there is a link there to a currently active video.
We don't condone it.
Of the one that is like we are currently going through. You can go through it with us if you want to, or you can just watch it, put it on loop. I don't care. But if you're,
that's all on you.
Yeah. We'll still
you didn't get it from us.
Yeah, that's right. No one attached to the show gave it away. All right, so let's keep looking here. Mostly rotating around, and again, before the scene changes right here, we've got this door and this other structure back here,
structure behind it.
Yeah, and again, this all seems like I said, very industrial, very practical, and all serving some sort of purpose. All right, now we get a shot change, very quick succession of shot changes, and now we actually get this pulled back shot that gives us some perspective for a zone. Now, this big wall that we see here in the background, I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that that's Baelsar's wall, and that this is the other side of Baelsar's wall that we're seeing for the very first time. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, that seems pretty likely. I don't know what other gigundous steel wall there is.
Right. Exactly. And then, we see right on the other side of this wall, there is, it seems like some kind of civilian encampment that very could be where we were just talking about, the zone that we were just looking at. And if it is, I think that that's pretty cool.
It's really striking to me how embedded in this mountainous region all this is. It's really a very small spot carved out.
It is literally carved into this mountain range.
And it makes me it
carved through the mountain range almost.
Exactly. Like when they built Baelsar's wall, you almost have more of an appreciation for it, seeing what they went through there.
Yeah, well, because Girabanya is already kind of the whole mountainous region sort of serves as a natural divider and a natural wall, but
we need a bigger wall.
Garlemald's like, nah, I need a wall on top of that mountain.
Someone says in the chat, was it Neozect says in the chat, when you run the wall, you can actually see that tower.
Really?
Interesting. Interesting.
Nice.
So one other thing that I wanted to point out is that one other thing that I wanted to ask before we moved on was Baelsar's Wall wasn't there in 1.0. What was there in 1.0? What divided the western portion of the Black Shroud? I'm sorry, the eastern portion of the Black Shroud from Girabanya. What was the thing that stopped player progression from moving forward? I don't think it was the wall.
Juxta, you were an esteemed member of the Marmont task force.
That's right.
You know, right?
Yeah.
I destroyed the marmots in Ul'dah.
Someone in the chat, if you know, or if you have a piece of reference material that could tell us. I didn't think about it until now, but you're right, Kahlo. I think that the size of the wall, especially comparative to everything else here, right? Like if that's the city, man, that is truly a big structure, and had to be a crazy undertaking.
In the words of Escalia, it's gigundous.
I'm so glad, though, they didn't go like the FF11 route of this, where it's like on the other side of the wall, and we're in the desert.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
It's another forest on the other side. Like, oh, good. It actually feels like how a biome would be.
Yes, exactly. No, I think you're right. All right, let's continue on. And then we actually...
Holy crap.
Now, we get a pan up, okay?
There's a big chunk of that mountain missing.
Did we not... Is that the same mountain we saw in that one screenshot, or the video or whatever? We thought that was in Doma, didn't we?
Yes, some of us had theorized that this may have been in Doma.
How is that in our backyard and we don't know about it?
I mean, yeah, because if this is Baelsar's Wall, that is built into Baelsar's Wall.
Yeah, I don't know how far north along the border that
okay,
runs.
Now again, this was a very to describe this for people listening on the podcast and those that are not able to view the video. We literally panned from that original shot of the settlement.
Yep.
And it panned away from that and up to the mountain.
This giant mountain with a big hole missing out of it.
Now, question, could this have been made? Could the hole have been made by Omega and Shinryu?
Oh, okay. That might make sense.
They did go blasting off towards the north, was it?
I don't remember what the direction was.
I don't remember.
Yeah, because even if that big hole was already there, let's say it was caused by the calamity or something, right? Even if we don't see that out and about, dude, you would have to think that lore-wise somebody would talk about it somewhere.
I gotta think that that's Omega Fallout.
I agree.
I have to imagine that that's Omega Fallout.
I agree.
All right, let's move on here. Now, by the way, when we did see that concept art for the hole blown into the side of the mountain, that was among the first round of art that we got before that we knew we were going to Doma or authored at all. Right. So I think most of us actually did link this initially with Girabanya or Alamigo. So that it's not that much of a surprise that exists. And, from where we are in Eorzea, we may not be able to see that hole. And I really hope that however they have the way that you see that for the first time in the game, I hope that it's a good reveal. I really do.
Well, it's not going to be as
not anymore
awesome now that we know that it's somewhere. Yeah. Damn it, we spoil ourselves.
Whoops.
It's your fault, Nero.
All right. We're taking a look at here's another encampment.
This one definitely looks kind of Dominish, doesn't it?
This is permanent. No,
I think this is Alamegan.
Still think that this is Alamegan because we still got this going on here in the background. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah. But we do see this encampment area. This actually seems like a minor reference back to 1.0 Aetheryte camps that were just a tent around an aetheryte, where they're less built up than the settlements that currently exist around aetherytes. I think that that's a good contrast given where we are at this stage in the game.
Well, and I think those kind of especially fit in Alamigo, which is still kind of war-torn. There's still, pockets of resistance everywhere that would need encampments like this. I think it fits better in Alamigo today than it would in our sections of Eorzea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I actually love in this shot here how prominent the wall still is, and I love that idea when you're in a game that there are certain structures that no matter how far away you get, they're so massive that they're still always present somewhere there.
Yeah. No, that's an important aspect to a persistent world, is to have those kinds of landmarks.
You remember in Morrowind, you could always kind of see Red Mountain in the distance?
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly. I sort of feel the same way about the nail in Korthus, especially after they put that big hunk of Dalamud sticking out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on in the video. We see more of the encampment, more of the tents here. And it looks...
Living in caves, that is very Alamigan.
Yeah, it looks like there is some sort of like, like natural cave structure that gives them some,
my Atoa chasm senses are tingling.
Yeah, I definitely have picked that up too.
I can't wait for the miasma.
Here we go, another big sweeping shot. I love these.
Yeah, we get another big sweeping shot of this zone.
That is very Atoa chasm.
again, here just to give you a little bit of context and a little bit of place, we see over here up on the upper right-hand corner the mountain with the hole currently in it. Baelsar's Wall, what we can assume is Baelsar's Wall, is kind of moving across here, and we're continuing the pan now to the other side, where we see a big tower in the middle of a chasm. Okay, great. Now continue your Ottawa chasm jokes, but we see this structure that's literally been built into the middle of the chasm, and it actually reminds me of the what's that one structure from Game of Thrones that's built on the river and is meant, like, you can't pass unless you have the permission of House. It was House Tully for a while, but then it changed hands.
It's where the Cranog men are.
Yeah, I just don't remember. I haven't watched Game of Thrones in like fucking 8 months.
Where the dude with the ugly daughters is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Swamp Castle.
It reminds me a little bit of that. Like, first of all, that is a Garlean structure for sure.
Yes, definitely.
100%. That's a Garlean structure.
River Run.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mousimus.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm Mousimus.
No, you're not.
I'm Mousimus.
I'm Mousimus.
So we have this. We've. What? No waterfall.
Talk about the structure.
So that's what it reminded me of right off the rip.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's going to be a river run-ish sort of vibe going on.
But what's it kind of like blocking off? Because you're right, it's just in like the middle of this chasm. I feel like it's really easy to just like go around this.
This would be a cool setting, I think, for the next deep dungeon.
You don't know how big that chasm is.
Yeah, I think you're not going to be able. Yeah, you're definitely not going to be able to get around that. And then we continue on, and it looks like we can actually see the impact point of maybe whatever went through the mountain. Right? If you follow the trajectory...
Oh, shit, yeah.
That looks like it may be the crater right here. Okay, I'm going to show it again. This looks like over here, this might be the crater where whatever went through the mountain impacted into the ground.
Can you tell if that's just a crater or if it's like a tunnel that goes down further? Because I feel like if it's an impact point, it should be bigger. Could also be some type of like launch point.
It could be. I'm going to say that it's a crater because it does look like it has some depth. It's tough to tell because you've got this sort of like step piece of geography kind of sitting in front of it and it's obscuring it just a little bit. But yeah, I think it does have some depth. I think it does go down a little
bit. It's interesting you mentioned that about that crater because I was thinking that chasm might be more of the impact point where it like tore into the earth too.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I was thinking the same thing too. And then but it doesn't quite make the trajectory. This actually I think hits more along the line of the trajectory. One other thing that I wanted to point out Excuse me.
Okay, this is the last thing you get to point out, though.
One other, well, about this shot, because we've shown it a couple of times, and I don't want to get too excessive with it. But one of the things that I want to point out about this shot is that this landscape is just dotted with interesting stuff that I want to know more about. Like, I definitely want to know more about whatever this little kind of like step thing is over here that's obscured by that long piece of geography. I want to know what's going on over here. I want to know what's going on over here, and I want to know what's going on over here. I think all of these things are going to be massively interesting.
Well, and remember, one of the things that they boasted about, dropping PS3 support and getting more servers is that they can put more stuff on our screen.
Right, exactly. And so, yeah, I think that there's in the end going to be some really interesting stuff to explore here. Now, I think it's interesting that this has like been the first piece of media that's actually genuinely got me hyped for Stormblood as of yet, and it's not an official piece of media.
And it's leaked footage.
I know, right?
And I think you were mentioning how much stuff is going on, whereas some of the Ishgard zones, they do feel real empty.
When you think about them, like right now, like the Dravanian hinterlands, or no, what's the second one? The Dravanian forest? I forget what it was called. But anyway, that one was really giant, wide open spaces.
Right.
Yeah. And it seemed like if you look down at the map, you're like, all right, you got the Nath here, the dragons here, Feather Place here, and then it's just empty everywhere.
Yeah. But this one, like, when I look at that zone, and of course, once you can fly, it won't be so good.
You're
but,
right.
But there's changes in elevation everywhere, and there's something going on at every turn.
Yeah. I hope that, at least for our first exploration of this, where we have to be on foot, that it's going to be an interesting tour of the zone. That's what I hope. All right, let's continue on here. We get the next scene change, and
what kind of structure is that?
This seems like
Beastman related.
This seems very Beastman related.
Would have to be that. What's the name of the river folk or whatever? The ones that
Sahagin?
No, not the Sahagin. The new ones that we're getting. We're getting the Lamia, and then we're getting the ones that
Ninja Turtles.
The Ninja Turtles. They collect like treasure and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Kerrigan, Krog.
The Kojin, yeah.
Kojin.
This looked like maybe this might be the Kojin.
Yeah.
God, that material looks like Cermet.
Right?
Yeah, it does. I don't know. It reminds me.
Spine.
Maybe it's that I loved the game, but I see so many callbacks to FF11 stuff in
Not
this
a bad
video.
thing. Not a bad thing, though.
No, not a bad thing at all. I see a ton of them everywhere I look, and that looks like a Cermet structure. It looks like something you would see in like Romave.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. Except a little bit more insectile?
Yeah.
Insectile, and it's a little bit more embedded into the existing landscape, whereas everything like Zilarshan always was very much standalone by itself.
That's fair. That is fair. All right. So we get to see we're moving back from that, and
can you go back to that? Oh, actually, this one's even better.
Okay.
The changes in elevation again.
Yes.
Look at how high up we are as opposed to where the ground is, and you know both of these are going to be places that we can walk on.
Yeah.
Not just changes in elevation, but the fact that we just get different levels. I think that's better. We get different levels in like the same area.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So here we are. We see this platform that will ostensibly be able to climb up onto, and you do see there is quite an elevation difference between where you are here and all of this stuff down here, more towards the bottom. And again, you do up in the upper right hand corner, you do see that large impact crater that went through the mountain. And
again, I love that all these things are persistent almost no matter where you are in the zone. You have these giant geographic locations that identify and mark where you are.
Right. And again, Baelsar's Wall just sort of the backdrop for all of this. It's sort of the one structure that is the big constant in all of this.
We're so high up on this structure. I hope that we can see enough over the wall to see like a familiar sight from home.
Everyone in the chat,
those types of touches are really important for zone work.
Do you remember when you flew on an airship for your first time and you were able to see the Holocrag on your way to Sandoria? And you're like, that is such a cool touch.
Yes.
People in the chat saying that it's probably the Anada Beastman tribe since they are mountainous and the Kojin are more river folk.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, so we'll continue on here in the video. This seems to be focused. I mean, this is the tower, right? Like this is the tower that we were seeing earlier in the middle of the river. That seems to be the structure that we're on, and sort of looking around again. As the video continues on, you get the crater mountain that moves away towards the left, and then you see that this center structure looks like it's actually the tower.
You know, based on the size of this tower, I have to wonder if there's some other purpose to it besides just, like River Run is to the rivers, and it's like, oh, we need this tower for the people who are crossing the chasm. It's so massive, there must be some other type of use to it.
So, so a couple things stand out to me. Is that one, the light in the bottom there, it looks like one room of that tower's lit up. Mm-hmm. It almost like makes me think of like a prison. Oh. Like a POW camp sort of thing. But at the same time, does that tower not say Garlean to anyone else?
Oh, yeah.
It definitely does.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely Garlean.
Is it?
I think all of these structures are they're more permanent Garlean structures, and they've been standing for much longer.
Yep. Now, remember, at the beginning of when this expansion was first announced, that's one of the things that Square Enix said we could be looking forward to in our march to Alamiga, is because they have been under Garlean rule for so long, no one's been fighting them, there's going to be a lot more permanent structures, so you're going to see what the Garlean structures would look like on a longer time scale.
I guess it looks like very much like it's made out of stone, and that usually doesn't say Garlean to me.
Well, that's because where we've seen the Garleans, they're setting up more temporary type camps.
Where do you see stone in here? I see steel. That's all I see is steel.
That's fair.
I mean, these look like
steel beams.
Yeah, steel beams. This looks like a steel catwalk.
This one on the left, though, it looks like it's made of stone to me. Maybe it's just the angle that I'm at.
Maybe. And it might just be, a similar texture color too to the mountain behind it. But no, I think that's a little bit more of a solid iron catwalk.
That could be, because it just doesn't look like that shiny black steel that we're used to seeing in Castro.
Because this looks like something that was constructed rather than dropped in.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right, so we'll continue on. Get another kind of perspective. Here we go. We get another look at the tower, and again, you can actually see exactly where the perspective was from the previous shot. It was actually up here.
All right, it looks a little small to be a prison.
Yeah. I definitely think that it should have some kind of significance.
Besides just being like a watchtower.
Yeah.
Now that we're lower to the ground, though, that chasm is a lot bigger than I thought it was.
It sure is. But one other...
jump it with my chocobo.
But again, the perspective of the camera in the previous shot was, right about right here on the tower, and it was looking at these parallel beams that are coming out from the center to that ring. So...
Mousimus has failed us. It's not River Run. It's the twins ruled by House Frey.
Oh, boo.
Damn it, Mousimus. You are
not
dead
anymore.
To us.
Anyway.
Spoilers.
So, yeah, I love the architecture. I think the architecture is fascinating and also is at a stark contrast with all of the other architecture that we know.
If we have to take down this structure right here, I say we go straight for the jet fuel.
There's no way.
It melts steel beams.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
There's no way. We're not bringing that down.
It could well be a dungeon.
That's kind of small to be a dungeon.
Well, going up, maybe not. Maybe,
unless there's more structure, yes. Going down,
I don't know. We tore through, something as big as the Crystal Tower. I don't think that it's quite that big comparative to the Crystal Tower.
No, but it might be similar to Pharaoh Sirius.
Maybe.
That's true.
Maybe. All right, let's continue on in the video. We pan down, and this is actually, what I want to point out is that this is actually the battlefield setting for the opening of the benchmark.
Is.
Yeah, this is the bridge structure that they're starting to fight onto. The Garleans come off the bridge structure. The Eorzeans
fighting.
Yeah, why are we fighting towards
towards the Alliance? Yeah.
Again, plenty of people pointed this out.
Securing a supply route.
The benchmark doesn't need to make sense. The other thing is that it could be on the other side of this too. But it does look like this looked like even a lot of the same landscapes that were used in the benchmark. But all right, so in the benchmark you had all of this skirmishing that was being done down here and moving towards the bridge landmark, and so ostensibly there is more, if the benchmark is to be believed the way that it started off, that there is probably more.
Oh yeah, because this is like in the middle of the zone
as the camera pans, and that's actually where we get, I think, this area. I think this is where.
Ooh, I thought we were theorizing that this area was immediately beyond the wall at the beginning, buried down inside the mountains.
I think that's actually the other area that we were looking at before that's slightly smaller. I think this is a different area.
Oh, okay.
I think this is a different section. I think this is a different populated section of the map that we're going to be going to, because the Aetheryte is in a different position.
Yeah, and it would make sense that it would still have similar architecture, obviously.
Exactly. So here we see, I would say that this is even slightly more populated than the area before. And really interesting, I think, because this is in the benchmark. It seemed to be where we, as Eorzeans, were coming from. Whether again, benchmark is not necessarily to 100% be believed as indication,
a source of canon.
Exactly, an indication of where the narrative is going to go, but just kind of an interesting side note. So as we continue on in the video, we now move it looks like just slightly outside of the city area, and we get a little bit of the zone. Again, the image is pretty dark on the screen, but you can see lots of elevation changes. The foliage looks very, very well done, and it looks distinct from Gridania. That was going to be one of my early on concerns, was that some of the Girabanya zones were going to look remarkably like the Shroud, and I think that they're doing a really good job of differentiating the two. And I don't know if that's just in their color palette choices or some of their texture choices, but it does feel different. It feels a little bit more autumny. I don't know why that would necessarily. Maybe it's the color, but it doesn't feel like the full bloom of.
It kind of feels
the Black Shroud.
A little Wajami woodlands to me.
You think?
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know that I would go that far, because Wajam Woodlands was that was really specifically stylized in my head.
Maybe.
I don't know why, but it sticks out in my head a lot more than this does. Might not be wrong, but I don't know that I agree with you. Anyway, let's keep it moving here.
Trying to see what's beyond the trees.
I think we're just supposed to be focusing on the trees. And then
that definitely looks like the settlement we just came out of right there.
Yes, and to be able to get this final shot, this final look at the settlement, yes, I would assume that we would just be leaving. So that I pretty typical. I think that's a pretty typical shot of most stuff in FF14. Pretty normal. So as we keep moving on here. More just your average zone type stuff. There looks to be like a beastman encampment. It looks like there's something skewered by the side of the road, which to me says that there might be some more purposeful beastman encampment placing than necessarily some
wandering tribes of some sort.
Yeah, exactly. And then we've also got this little encampment around here as well.
Does this look like we're back in that zone where the tower was?
This is I think literally the structure where the benchmark starts, because just on the other side of this is where we start getting to that battlefield area, and you can even see in the very distance, just beyond the trees, you can see one of those Gridania, or not Gridania, but
it looks like a cottage. Is it abandoned?
The cottage does look abandoned, but in the background you can see one of the airships from the Garlean Empire.
Fuck you, Garly.
What? Okay, all right. Anyway, but that was in the opening benchmark sequence, and then of course we also get to this the bridge where that whole thing takes place.
Yeah.
But, did you notice what's this burning wreckage that's up on this?
It looks like some type of airship.
It does. It looks like a downed airship. Which is interesting if that's just like a permanent...
That's weird. Why would you have a permanent burning wreckage up there?
Right? Isn't it weird? This is... And again...
Do you think that maybe they might... Because it's something that's commonly used in every other MMO I have ever played, and they only use it in relation to, like Idleshire or Revenant's Toll, but they might use some type of phasing technology in these zones as you progress through story?
Maybe. The only other thing is that they may have been placed specifically for the benchmark. That's the only other possibility.
Okay, yep.
They may have been placed specifically for the benchmark, and if they were, that makes sense. But if that's just a permanent part of the zone, I don't think that does make sense. I don't think that makes sense at all.
No, it would have to be either what you said, placed there for the benchmark, or they plan on using some type of storyline-derived phasing technology.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it going here. We're looking...
We didn't start the fire.
We actually get more shots of some of this wreckage here.
Yeah.
We actually see over here that's kind of hard to see, but it's an iron giant that's kind of worked into the side of the mountain, as well as another one of those pieces of airship that's sticking out of the mountain as well.
I do like the idea of being able to go back to like where the battle took place and like all this wreckage is just permanently there.
Yeah, and that's not the problem. The problem is why would it be burning permanently?
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, again, I don't think we ask that kind of question with the wreckage that exists in Northern Thanaland, do we? Outside the wall? No. But nothing I think is actively burning there either.
No.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy.
I mean, you are, but probably not. But not for that reason.
Maybe this makes more sense when you have NPCs placed. Maybe.
Oh yeah, that could
be.
Maybe
that's I mean, that is an important context that we're missing here. To be fair,
I really dig that remains of the airship sticking out of the ground there. It looks like it's been there for a long time.
Me too. I'm really interested. This is one of those things that definitely adds to my curiosity, which I think adds to my natural hype levels, for sure. All right, let's continue on in the video here. Again, we're seeing. More fallout of battle. Taking a look up at the stars.
Whoa! Okay, holy crap!
Now we get a big scene change, and we actually see the the tower stack that exists in the distance.
You climb that tower, you get senzu beans.
In the portion of the video where everyone is swimming.
One of my favorite things when it comes to MMOs is when you can find a particular point in the game where everything that's on your screen just looks like this massive sweeping landscape. This right here is probably the coolest image I've seen out of Stormblood.
You could cut that shot right there and make a background out of it.
Easily. Or that when you go to where the mouse people, the beastmen are. What are they called?
The kobold?
The kobolds, yeah. When you go to the kobold zone, there's that part where you can go down to like
mouse
where that
people. I wouldn't have made that connection ever.
Rats, whatever. Where the cabin is, and you can like look down over all that big mountainous area. Is another one of my favorite places. Yeah.
This is a weird kind of compliment to pay this picture, but the clouds in the background look so real to me.
Now,
like that looks like an actual cloud landscape in the background.
I mean, contrast that with the kind of fucked up looking water right now. I think maybe when this person had extracted the DATs, not all of the graphical information came along with it. So the water seems a bit glassy at the moment.
Sure does. It looks like an aquarium tank.
I don't know. I feel like two people could cosplay as Yuna and Tidus and get it on in that water.
But that, like you're right. The water looks like real glass. I like the shark hanging out over there on the right.
It does look a little bit awkward when it's in motion.
But the skyline looks great.
It does. Now, here is where I'm willing to eat crow and admit that I was wrong.
But he's a robot.
We now we go underwater and see that there is quite a bit more to this underwater zone or dungeon or whatever it is than we had initially realized. I gotta say.
And it looks again like this doesn't make me think of a dungeon like the last images that we saw of underwater. This looks like there's a city right there that we're walking towards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's kind of hard to tell what is going to be a zone and what's going to be a dungeon from this point out.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be like our like tail feather or a zone like that,
No,
Annex
'cause
Shrine, but
I mean, maybe it's just a city in.
I'm trying to think of it like contextually. Like in Heaven's War, we have Ishgard. The city is a city proper. And then we ended up having Idleshire, which was our expansion city. We probably got that as Rhalgar's Reach this time around.
And our big city is Doma.
So I'm thinking like where like
or not Dome, whatever it is. The Kugane. Kugane. Sorry.
Where in like the context of the leveling process and in the story is this city going to fall? I kind of think like an Annex Shrine type place.
Could be. It could be. Anyway,
it's probably where the Kojin live.
Could be.
And that also could be. We see that there's actually, quite a bit outside of what looks like a city area, and it looks like it goes to a zone area. I mean, this looks like it leads from you're right, this is a very open city. It doesn't seem to me much like a dungeon, unless the dungeon is incredibly linear, moving you through this area.
Well, yeah, exactly, because like the dungeon, if that's a dungeon, then it is the most like visible dungeon we've ever had. We've never had a dungeon where you could see inside of it before you went in there. It's always just a separate zone.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So we'll continue the pan, and then here's I think this is really interesting because we actually see a little portal that it looks like it's designed to suck you in to the bubble. I think that we're actually like the zone outside of it is not necessarily going to be a battle zone, but that we're going to have to swim here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to swim here.
Technology is pretty sweet that they can design bubble cities with portals that take you in and don't let water in.
I mean, look, this is a way bigger concept than I gave Square Enix any credit for. I'm totally willing to eat crow on a lot of the shit that I talked about last week in regards to Square Enix's ability to make compelling content for Stormblood. I'm going to walk a lot of that back because I'm really interested in what's going on.
I legitimately want to go and explore this area, which is more than I can say for a lot of the game.
Like young Taiga bubbliness.
Bubbliness.
It does look like a bubble anus.
It does.
There's definitely some anus. There's some puckering going on right there.
That is officially the bubble anus.
There you go. You get a nice shot of the bubble anus right there.
God. It's crowning.
Oh. And here we see on the inside of the bubble, where ostensibly we would be going. I'm assuming that we would be going from swimming to
not walking. Yeah,
to not walking.
If this is like a Beastman city, that'd be nuts. But the architecture of it doesn't strike me.
No, dude, I think you're hitting on something because right here, this to me speaks. This says Beastman all over.
It does. From the outside, though, it didn't look particularly Beastman. It looked very Doman.
I think that this is two different areas. To be honest
okay.
Yeah, I don't think we're looking at the same place.
Okay.
Which, I mean, that's also interesting if there are multiple areas that are sort of bubbled off that you end up, being
bubble anuses
being able to go into. I think that's an interesting idea.
Then that, like, oh man, how many areas could you possibly have like that if there's no combat?
And what's the hook moving between the two of them?
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. Once you get flying, there is not there. Yeah, the zone movement is pretty done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe they're just saying, fuck it. Like, why bother?
Maybe.
Which to me, I think would be disappointing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right. Continuing to pan around the domed city. I think you're right. I think specifically right there. I think specifically right there, Escalia, that was a
Beastman city?
Beastman
yeah.
encampment.
Oh, wow.
Now,
what a shot.
This is... I'm going to guess this is Rhalgar's Reach.
Ooh.
I'm going to guess. The high walls tell me that. The tent tells me that. Actually, this big-ass tent over here, that
could well be where that image took place.
That could be where, opening...
the Instagram.
And thank you. Instagram image might be.
Does this look like it was built into like a quarry of some sort, or?
Well, the smooth rocks would certainly make you think.
Yeah, the symmetrical and smooth rocks definitely make me think that this was probably once used as a quarry. And actually,
maybe the question is what was excavated out of here,
right? And actually, now that I go back and think about that pulled back shot that we got of the zone, there is that like one structure that I was like, I wonder what that is. I think this is what that is.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah.
Man, this is like awe-inducing. I don't know, like this shot maybe just because it's pulled back so far. But when I look at this, I feel like you remember when you saw the third Lord of the Rings for the first time. You saw Gondor.
Yes.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
It's awe-inspiring. That's what this makes me think of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I can see that for sure.
We're getting some more close-ups of different assets. Well, I think that and I never actually caught any of this in any of the previous material, but just kind of take a look at some of the detail that's being done on some of this architecture that's carved into the stone. I think this is gorgeous. I think this is some of the best looking, and best designed architecture that FF14 has ever done.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated by this.
It definitely gives the idea off that this city has been here for a long, long time.
Which is, I think that's what you want. Especially in a persistent world game. Yeah, you want a zone that conveys age.
My question becomes, how does the home base of the Resistance exist somewhere for a long, long time?
Secret.
That's a good point.
Secret? Oh, great.
And then, of course...
Secret quarry?
Yeah, I mean, they kept it a secret.
And then, of course, they pan up to what is probably the most noticeable landmark of all of Ralgar's Reach, which is the gigantic statue of what I'm assuming is Ralgar.
They're not doing a very good job of keeping it a secret.
Wait, no, that can't be Ralgar. Because, no, that's not what came out of the giant bubble over
oh my
over
God,
the wall.
Stop it.
Yeah, that statue has to be Shinru.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, we get a little bit more of a look at Ralgar's Reach, moving up to the altar that the main character was standing in front of in the benchmark. Of course, this was, you got a really good look at this in the benchmark. I don't think that we need to double back around to that.
One thing really springs to mind. If this is going to be our Idleshire or our Mordona equivalent, this place is way better than the other two places that we've had.
To start out with,
God, Idleshire is, to this day, boring as fuck.
Yeah,
that's because everything they added to Idleshire, you couldn't really do anything with.
Well, even like Mordona is pretty boring.
Or sorry, Mordona, I meant. Idleshire was a little bit better because you could actually go through a lot of this stuff.
There's like fountains and like farms and stuff.
The garden in the back.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
But if you even go back to that first shot you showed us, the big sweeping, open area shot where it looked like it was in a quarry and where we could see the tent, there's a lot of room for expansion.
They're both way more boring and uninspired than this is. This is far more interesting than either of them was.
No, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. All right, so continuing on in our pan around Ralgar's Reach, seeing a lot of the waterfalls inside. Now we also get to see inside one of the structures that has another one of these tents. And again, if you look at the tents, I think that juxta what you had pointed out, that some of these tents look like they have the odd ergony aspects to them. I think that you're actually seeing that in this video here.
You've like might have just paused it on like exactly that Instagram shot.
Yeah.
That tent in the background, isn't that exactly... I'm bringing up the image on my phone now. Isn't that exactly what it was?
No, if I had to guess, I would say that it may be taking place inside of the tent that we're currently looking at.
Yeah, but that's definitely the weird, like, sort of ball-looking things.
It definitely is, for sure.
Yeah, like...
Leave it to Juxta to point out balls.
Yeah, I was thinking the
a little
same
bit.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see it. I definitely, looking at it, I definitely think that image is happening in Ralgar's Reach, for sure.
Oh, what is this?
Now, this is, I think, probably one of the most interesting parts of the whole benchmark. This was the very, very end, where you had that sort of force field thing with Cletus makes an appearance.
Yup.
And you've got the whole bunch of people smashing through the force field, right? You get a little bit. We're going to be able to look at it a little bit finer detail here for about 45 seconds. So that's the first opening shot. And as we continue on, it does seem like this is a very battle damaged area. This is a very heavily battle scarred area. There are large divots in the walls in what would be ostensibly creating the force fields. We did see in the benchmark explosions coming out of the machines that were generating the force fields for people to be able to get to the other side of it. And it makes me wonder, like, what is that going to be a gameplay aspect?
That I feel like that has to be, if not a gameplay aspect, it has to at least be part of like the MSQ.
Well,
right?
Yeah, like narratively, that would explain like if they've got this force field that's kind of protecting them. Maybe that's why, like, because the Garlean Empire should have crushed this Alamegan resistance. They're not particularly well hidden.
That's right. So if they have no reason to worry about them because they exist beyond some border that they just can't get through.
Yeah, like let them stay over there.
Yeah,
let them rot.
I mean, being down in this little quarry, like we said, they've carved out stuff in the actual sides.
They have giant statues.
Statue aside, what I'm saying is they may know where they are, but that's also a pretty defensible position, right? They can get themselves inside there,
right?
So you can take out some of their structures on the outside, but none of those are really permanent, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they're bunkering down in there.
One doesn't simply walk into Rhaegar's Reach. It has a force field.
Okay, but we have airships and stuff. The Garleans could just bomb them for days on end if they wanted
Again, they could just like hunker down inside there, and okay, sure, maybe you might drop like some rocks or cause cave-ins,
but again, well, hang on. Okay, so Rhaegar's Reach is in Girabanya, not in Authored, right?
Right.
Okay, so if that's the case, then like why would they be being routed as heavily? Oh no, I guess
I feel like if Gridania, if Garlemald knows that they're there, there's no reason for them to still be there. Garlemald like owns that area. What I'm thinking, if that is a holy place, they might be risking inciting a rebellion by attacking
it. But I thought the force field portions were from somewhere on Author.
Oh no, yeah, he's right. They absolutely are. I think so.
So I think that we're starting to get at some point the two conflated.
Okay.
So, all right, let's continue on in the video here. Yeah, because here,
there we go.
We're panning away from right now in the video. We're panning away from one of those force field structures, and we're seeing another structure. And the structure that we're seeing is definitely Eastern inspired, and so makes me say that it's not Girabanya. That these force fields do not exist in Girabanya. All right, let's continue on. Here we go. Now we see. Okay, here is exactly what I'm talking about. Right, we see this structure in front of the force field structure. Definitely not. Definitely not Kugane. Definitely not Girabanyan.
But again, you talk about an awe-inspiring like set piece in the background. That is amazing to look at.
In what way are we going to be able to interact with this? Because I think that may be very, very interesting. By the way, I just want to point out here, it may be a little bit tough to see, but on the right side of your screen, just a very faintly, you'll start to see the beginnings of a face from what looks like a statue that exists on that side of the screen that is very difficult to see.
Where at?
Right over here on the right side.
Oh, yeah. There's something there.
Yeah.
It's like a giant baby head.
So I think that's really interesting because not only do you have this sort of portal force field bridge that has been created, but you've also got this big religious symbol that's also carved into the side of the mountain. I think both of those are very interesting. We continue on now. We're getting down into some of the Athardian structures down here. Of course, all keeping in with the Eastern theme, very clearly the Eastern theme running throughout all of this. But we'll continue watching here. As we move in, this looks like that small encampment that existed at the base of the thing with the force fields. And again, this looks a little bit like a dojo. I think.
Yeah.
This is a good way to describe it. I mean, I feel like I've seen this setting in a bajillion kung fu movies.
That's not inaccurate.
So, very, very weeby.
Probably a good place to play Lords of Verminion Go at.
Let's continue on here. We've only got about 18 seconds left in the video. Back outside, we're starting to look again at that force field area. Again, I think that's the walled encampment that you're starting to see at a distance. See some of the outskirts of that, and again, in the very, very background, you see that head starts to form in that mist back there, which I think that's a very cool touch.
This zone feels humongous.
It does. It sure does. And the fact that I don't know what's on the other side of that force field is really compelling as well.
I gotta know what's over there.
I know. So we continue on, and now we get a really nice close shot of the force field structure. There we go.
Can you place what technology that is? I have no idea.
Nope.
Yeah, if it's
not Garlean,
it doesn't look Garlean. Doesn't look
could be Weeb.
Doesn't look Allegan or Makai.
There you
or
go.
Anything we've seen before.
And it's definitely technology. It's not just straight up like magic. That's like tech, right?
The bottom of that leads me to believe it's tech.
Yeah.
And like the little like guns almost that like stick out and like generate it. Yeah.
Torches.
It definitely makes me think tech, but not a tech that I recognize the construction of.
Yeah. Interesting. That's, I think, let's see if we got one more shot. Yeah, we got one more shot in here that we can show.
Now here's your dojo.
Yeah, here we go. Weeb City.
Pretty much.
Weeb City. So one thing really stands out to me about this whole video, and that is that about 85% of it was Alamigan. Was the closer to us, Girabanya and Alamigo, as opposed to Authard.
Well,
which leads me to believe that most of those zones are done, and most of these zones are not done.
Well,
and we might not see them till 4.1.
Now, keep in mind, though, again, the person who dug these zone DAT files out only has
the stuff from the benchmark.
Right.
So, I mean, you might be right.
It might be wrong too.
But I think you're connecting dots that don't necessarily
need to be connected.
I just thought the ratio was kind of striking of how much of it was Girabanya and Alamigo.
I mean, it does seem like that one Girabanya zone is like done. Like it's
ready to go. Yeah. Probably our opening zone.
Yeah. I'm really impressed by what I saw here. I got to be honest.
For just being what is possibly what are we thinking, 2, maybe 3 zones total?
Yeah.
It only showed off a few, yeah.
I think
maybe 3. Maybe 3.
I wouldn't say that it's given me any hype levels, but it has put more hope back into me.
Juxta, how about you?
It looks really good. The only thing I feel concerned about was in that first scene with that giant crater, the mountain that got shot through it.
Yeah.
I felt like there was a lot of area that was just like really rocky and impassable. So I'm wondering, like, obviously we probably won't be able to go there, but how much of the zone?
Well, it does. It has to bottleneck you somehow.
Exactly.
Well, it has to bottleneck you somehow.
I see where Juxta's going, but I don't necessarily know if that's true, because if we think to the Dravanian Forelands, like, you can fly up that mountain pretty quick, even though it's not traversable by foot.
It's true, but I don't know. I just feel like there was a lot of it.
Yeah, I feel like you're not going to be able to fly over any of that.
Yeah,
I feel like you should be able to go to that giant hole, and there's so much radiation it just kills you.
I don't know. I feel like there's just so much, like, it just looked really low res. But I mean, that's not really fair because it is like data mined benchmarks.
Yeah, it's out of the benchmark, and it's probably areas that haven't been, like, especially those kinds of areas where we're probably not supposed to go.
Yeah,
have not had any kind of finishing touches put on them yet. I would assume.
But no, I think it looks really good. I'm really excited about it. I really want to go into that anus.
Really?
He wants to experience the anus.
The anus is the thing that you're really excited about.
Do you not want to go into the anus?
The anus bubble portal. Great. Awesome. Way to be mature. Let's go to our phone lines and talk to Elican of Excalibur and Adamantoise. What's up, Elican?
Hey guys, thanks for getting the name wrong. I appreciate it.
We don't give a shit what your stupid name is. So either correct it or just move on.
That's like my real name. Like you can't be calling it stupid.
That's even better.
That's even more of a reason why it's stupid, and it is a stupid name. I'm kidding.
Why did your parents hate you?
Anyway, so why does who hate me?
Your parents.
Yeah.
We assume that's who named you.
Oh no, it's backwards, bro. I'm not. Come on. I think about things. I use the naming logic.
Backwards is the naming logic?
We should have known that was his name backwards, is what he's saying.
Okay, what are you calling about?
His name is Dunkle?
It is. That is my name.
I don't believe you.
Your parents really did hate you.
Son?
Jesus. Okay, I'm not going to get into the whole naming explanation, but no, I called you guys, although your last bit kind of threw off on why you guys suck, because a lot of people don't call in and tell you why you suck.
It's true.
It's because we
and
don't.
then also I was going to... well, you do. I mean, also I was going to talk a little bit about my Stormblood hype. It's one of the arguments that I don't hear anybody talk about on why it's exciting just for new content. Mainly, and I'm going to grab my notes here.
Oh,
and,
yes.
Oh, boy.
He came prepared.
Here we go, guys.
You're already a better caller than Ryuichi.
No, I just, I'll get off track, pretty easily.
Like with
and then
naming.
you guys want to talk about my name and whatnot. So the reason I think you guys suck, and I wrote a big email about it, I just never sent it, apparently. I didn't. Yeah, I know.
That's sad. Why would you tell us that?
I feel offended now.
I almost raged you on YouTube, too, but I was like, oh, this isn't going to go anywhere.
That's a good way to get on the show.
You were the most disappointing caller so far.
Yeah, seriously.
So this is a lot of buildup. Why do we suck?
Do your job!
No, mostly it's, you guys a lot talk about how you do, everybody needs, you need different opinions on, so you do that specifically, right? And so you might share an opinion on the show that you may not hold to keep the viewing audience interested, which I fully support. I get it, because nobody wants to hear a bunch of room going, oh, this is great. But except for this last bit, and,
except we just disproved it with the thing that we just did. Go on. What's your fucking point?
Yeah, which is surprising. And I'm not saying, but you guys always go super negative on everything, and I get it. Like, you might not be as hyped up as everybody else because they, went, what do you call it, Weibo or whatever, and went samurai and all that stuff. But, there's never a guy that's positive, all the time, or not all the time, but, more often than not. Sometimes I want to be inspired, or not inspired, but
okay,
Knuckle Do, I get what you're saying. I get it. Here's the thing, though.
Listen, yeah. Here's the thing: is that we want to be inspired too.
Yeah, well, and
Square Enix needs to fucking bring it at this point to inspire us or to impress us at this point.
And that person you're describing, the more often than not happy and positive person, that was me and Nika for almost 2 years, and even we are kind of beaten down at this point. Where it's I can't.
Yeah, you call in and you ridicule us for not having a super positive person, but our reactions and our opinions and the feelings that we hold are based on the game. So you're going to call in and tell us why we suck, but isn't that more indicative of the game and what they're delivering to us as a product?
But also remember, you guys have also said that, sometimes we share a view that's different, than we may hold. And I'm not saying, just you got to have one person on the show that's like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever every time. But, a lot of your reviews and bits, you guys just don't say very many positive things. And some things there aren't positive, and I get it. Lords of Vermilion. We can all talk about it. But, there should be, you got to add something, and you don't have to, of course.
All right. Sonic and Knuckles, I really appreciate the effort here, and I get what you're saying, man. But I came on this show, and I spoke to the positivity of the jump potion against Assface over there, and he got to tear into me for about an hour and a half.
That's right.
I took the positive side on that. That wasn't fun for me. I didn't want to do that. Fuck the jump potion. I can't do it every week, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's
too much erotic fan fiction as well. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I mean,
way too much.
We haven't done that in forever.
No, we haven't.
We need to do it today.
Nero cans it sometimes, which I very much appreciate.
Because we don't have time for it. We don't have time for it. A lot of times we'll take calls like this, and it bumps it off the schedule, and we just don't have time to go back for fan fiction. But look, man,
I'm glad anybody who bumps fan fiction.
But the thing, look, the thing is that I think that. We used to go to greater lengths to try to balance different conversations. And if there's an important point, like the jump potion, that does need all sides kind of represented, then I think we do go out of our way to try to present that point. But I think to your point that we always go negative, to counter that, every other FF14 podcast that I hear goes ridiculously positive, where the things that they're saying become almost disingenuous, where you're going, yeah, okay, we get it. Like no one's logging into this game right now, but yet you have like 9 other shows that are talking about how great this game is, or doing a weekly show about how great this game is. And I don't know, I'm only going to speak for myself, but for me, it's exhausting to try to find the positives, to go out of my way to try to find the positives. I can find positive shit. It's not like I've never been positive about FF14. There's been a lot of stuff that I've been really hyped about. I was really hyped about Dark Knight. I was super hyped coming off of 1.0 into 2.0. And I was really hyped going into Heavensward, because I thought that all of those legitimately had really interesting plot points and narrative pieces that I was latched onto and that I was invested in. And now we've gotten to the end of Heavensward, and I can say definitively that there's not a plot thread being thrown out there right now, maybe outside of Omega and Shinryu, that I'm like, I've got to figure out what the fuck's going on, because every other build-up and subsequent plot point for Heavensward was disappointing. And so it's hard for me at this point to work up the enthusiasm for Stormblood.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree, because I know that you guys have been playing the game longer than I have. I started, when Heavenward came out, and I really enjoy the game, and there are negatives for me too. That's just my opinion on. It's frustrating sometimes to and sometimes I just I gotta turn this down, because you guys are. I think that most of your opinions are negative, but that's fair. I listen to your show still, so.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ella Kid. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we don't get people calling in and disagreeing with us much. So we do appreciate the dissent.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Stormblood specifically, and I don't want you to just. So basically, I play MMOs and I play FF14 specifically for socializing, like as a game. Like I really enjoy a social aspect. I don't play on Balmung. I don't like erotic fan fiction. But I'm really excited because my free companies are, they're ready to do new content, and I really just like to have a group that I can go, hey, I know all these guys through the internet, and whether or not we're going to do repeating content or new content, doing stuff as a group, I think is the most exciting part about an MMO for me. So seeing the jobs, sure, I would have liked to have, Dancer as a tank, or a calculator, these are the jobs I want. But I know that, it's probably not going to happen. So sure, Samurai, I'll tool around with it. I'll level it because I'll be bored at some point. But I really, really like the group atmosphere. So having new content, new areas, and things like that, as big as an expansion can bring, gets me really hyped that, hey, it's going to be fun to log in, see people logged in the free company, and they're going to go, hey, I haven't done this part, or you haven't done this part. Let's go do it together. And then we can kind of, we can get a group together and we can actually have fun as a social group, And it makes me sound like a super lonely dude in real life.
No,
but
I think I agree with you. I think we're all looking forward to seeing people logged in again.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Our kind of our whole point and why we're so negative is look around. People aren't logged in, and there is a reason for it.
Yeah, and not just that, but I think that a lot of us held the same opinions going into Heavensward. Oh, it'll be nice to have people back on the servers again. Yeah. It'll be nice to be able to group up with people again. And I think that ignores the fundamental problem that we've been kind of striking at, or that we've been talking about for a while now, and that is that kind of downtime shouldn't exist in an MMO to begin with.
Well, I think there always is a level of downtime leading into an expansion, but what 14 sees is not the norm. It sees an unbelievable fall off for a long time
in engagement. Yeah,
because even in like 11, you would see some more of a lull leading up to an expansion because they're working on the expansion,
right?
But it wasn't like this.
No,
and frankly, you were usually still catching up on content from the previous expansion, trying to get it done before the new one launched.
Right, and
there's no concern of that here.
And I think that's where our criticism is sort of founded.
Yeah,
is because if you see that kind of deterioration of your everyday logging in community, then what kind of bottom line the bottom line hit the game ends up taking. You just know. If people are canceling subs and coming back only when there's relevant content, I'm sorry, we don't have 10 million subs. We are not World of Warcraft. We can't make that work.
Yeah, no, you have to be able to keep people engaged throughout your expansion cycle. And like I say, there's always going to be some fall off, but it can't be like this. I can't log in and be wondering, why is it a ghost town?
And I think the other point, to just talk about Electabuzz's initial point was that we go to great lengths to give you honest opinions and to give you our feedback as players, and not as some kind of paid representative of the game, not as some kind of commercial, and not as some kind of cheerleader. I think when you listen to community podcasts for certain games, that you end up walking away with a far more insular and isolated view of what the community is actually like than is represented on through that show, because every show thinks of themselves as the ambassador for their community.
Sure.
And that's really that's what we decided to let go of. And there's by the way, I just have to mention that there's an arrogance to that point of view. That when you come into a space and you make content, and then you suddenly, whether it's thrust upon you or you put it upon yourself, you suddenly take up the mantle of some of the voice of that game or the voice of that community, or somehow a representative of that community. I think that there's a lot of ego wrapped into something like that. That there's a lot of self-serving bullshit that's wrapped into something like that. And I'm not trying to put anyone on blast, but what I'm saying is that we're not here for some kind of self-serving purpose, right? We do the show because we love the game. We love FF14, whether it's going in a direction that we agree with or not. I think that's up to you to decide every week that you tune in and listen to the show. And I'm okay with people coming away every once in a while thinking that I hate this game. I don't. I never have. But it's fine if you think that. That's how passionate and that's how critical we get about FF14, because I think that is the necessary conversation that has to happen if you're this embedded in any one game or community.
Yeah, and to speak to this point that sometimes we will argue the other side even if we don't agree with it, we will, but rest assured, whatever the show's opinion is the one that will win that argument most times.
Most of the time.
I argued for the jump potion. The argument did not win that debate.
No, but I think you did pretty admirably considering the circumstances.
Considering that you're Ascalia.
Yeah. Ascalia arguing for the jump potion. There's a winning combo.
But anyway, we appreciate your call, Eloquent of Excalibur
Dungle
Adamantois Dunkel. Appreciate it. And we appreciate the dissent, too. If you want to call the show, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We invite your calls.
It was weird to get that call after doing 2 hours of why we're excited about the game.
I know.
Well, to be fair,
he didn't know. He didn't know.
He's been wanting to make that call for a while, I'm sure. He's like, well, ugh.
Yeah, exactly. So we've definitely got some emails that we can read here. We got a shitload of emails. I mean,
holy cow! When was the last time we actually read emails?
It's been a while.
It's been months.
Has it even been this year?
I read emails every time I sit down and look at the outline. So
no, I mean on the show. On the show,
you idiot!
I know. I'm just saying. I read you guys. I read what you guys are saying.
No, yeah. Someone reads your emails.
It's probably
someone.
It's probably
someone.
Kooky.
Anyway, let's read some emails. We honestly it's been so long since we've done this that I feel like we've got to knock a couple out. So, Kala, why don't you start?
Now, I'd first like to point out that a few of these emails are old, and when we first start to read them, it might seem like the concepts might be outdated, but I actually did go through and prune, and the old ones that I left in did
a bad job.
Did have some interesting angles that we've never really looked at before, okay? So this one actually comes back from as far as February 18th.
Holy cow.
From Platypus
I like
Facts.
that you date it.
I didn't date it. It was just data. I think that's
smart.
something
No, that's
Kooky
smart.
does.
That's
Yeah.
smart.
Well,
so this is from Platypus Facts. They said, so since the announcement at AEU Fan Fest, they announced a new job in the extended trailer. It seemed to spark up a lot of interest outside the typical FF14 community. Top broadcasters such as Lyric, It me
JP, you
Jesus.
idiot.
Me JP.
Wow.
Strippin, Bikeman, people who typically hop around MMO to MMO, seems like they want to start playing this game again. I do have a slight worry similar to Heaven's World that there will be a barrier of entrance that people need to go through. To use Lyric as an example, he expressed interest in the game, but he has tried it. He has played other MMOs like WoW for a period of time, but he claims FF14 combat is too far with its current global cooldown. Not to mention he thinks his interest may die off quickly since he thinks the game is similar to Elder Scrolls Online. For some reason, I feel like people will play the expansion for a week and maybe move on. I would like to see more people in the community, but at the same time, I don't want the community to dwindle or get a bad rep because people's favorite popular broadcasters shit on the game. Are you guys concerned about the new people who are interested in the game, but perhaps not fully able to enjoy the game since they have to start off brand new? I.e., person X wants to play Samurai, but person X needs to level other stuff for cross-class skills, go through the Terralong ARR Heaven's Ward story.
I'm gonna say something kind of unpopular here, and
that's a first.
I'm gonna say that it's gonna depend directly on how much money Square Enix spends on sponsored streams and streamers, and Twitch streams, promotional Twitch streams. That's exactly what it's gonna be relying on.
And I'm not super concerned about it at all. It's just, like that's something that comes with the territory of being any MMO. Every MMO deals with it. I'm not really worried about that.
Now, and the thing is, to the point of these big streamers that are interested in it right now, yeah, we see that with every expansion. People who are not a part of the community will come in and check it out for a little bit and then move on. And part of it is they're doing what's right for their audience and keeping their audience entertained. But I do think that it's a valid concern to say, some of these guys may end up coming in, talking a whole bunch of shit, maybe not even informed shit. I mean, clearly we're an example of how you don't need to be informed about anything to talk shit. And saying something that might end up hurting the bottom line for FF14, the way that Square Enix gets around it is by paying them. I mean, that's so cynical. I know it's so cynical.
Yeah.
But the way that Square Enix becomes bulletproof is they pay for sponsored streams, and then that way, look, no matter what, when you do a sponsored stream with a small streamer who, makes their money either through donations or through ad revenue pushing Twitch's ads, and then you throw money on top of it for sponsored streaming, how does that streamer remain objective?
You can't.
You can't.
You're a sellout.
You can't. I'm sorry, but and that's not a criticism of any one person directly. I'm sure people will be like, oh, he's talking shit on Happy again. I'm not. Happy plays FF14 all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So if Square Enix comes in and sponsors one of his streams, to me, that makes sense.
Yeah, that is who you should
That
be.
makes sense. And it makes sense for Happy to, to take that and to allow Square Enix and FF14 to sponsor a stream, because that is the bulk of his audience.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
When SC comes and waves the check at you, you don't say no.
Right.
But that doesn't make sense from Square Enix's point of view, because Happy's going to stream 14 anyway.
Yeah.
This was, I'm pretty sure that he was getting sponsored streams at a point where FF14 streaming was kind of at an all-time low on Twitch.
That may be possible.
Well, I'm just saying that. But people are going to be wanting to connect dots here that I'm just saying aren't there. I'm not trying to talk shit on anyone inside of the FF14 community. What I'm saying is that these big-time streamers who come in from outside of the community that flirt with a day or two playing FF14 are a drop in the bucket. They don't really actually impact the community as much as we think they do, as much as they think they do, or as much as apparently you think they do.
And here's the other thing too, speaking back to the email, even if Lyric is playing and he's shitting all over the game, anybody who would have came into his stream and now decides, oh, I'm not going to play this game because Lyric said it's bad, if Lyric wasn't streaming,
they would never even know about the game.
They're still not going to come play anyway. So I don't think it hurts us, but it obviously, doesn't do as much good for us as it would if one of those streamers actually liked the game.
Well, and it also goes back to the point we're at in the game. We're now an MMO that's 2 expansions in, technically 3 if you want to include 2.0. I mean, how much are you looking to grow at this point versus retain anyway?
Again, and I think that Ascalia, you bring up a great point, something that we've been hitting on for a long time, and that is why even try to bring new people in? I mean, there is a lot of advertising and a lot of promotion that's going out with Heaven's Word, but I think that, again, at this stage in the game, you're right. You need, as a development strategy, you need to be much more concentrated on retaining the people that are already there and who have been paying the subscription now for almost 2 years, as opposed to trying to grow your base even farther, because I think that's a far greater ask.
Yep, that'd be nice.
Next email is from Shady Grove of Mateus. Hi, gang. I've been hearing a lot about the revamped battle system coming in 4.0, and one thing that was mentioned is that it will make playing each class a lot easier for all the content in the game. I realize the problem now with ability bloat, unused or obsolete abilities, and the need to make room for more abilities down the road. Of course, these concerns need to be addressed. But to make each class easier to play, I'm just afraid this will lead to a generic gameplay that, even though Eorzea brings us the most epic landscapes and scenery and hands down the best storyline in an MMO, will drive away more dedicated and knowledgeable players. Will our best raiders be bots? Will our world firsters even need to be at their keyboards? Are the days of impossible recoveries and heroic victories over? If it's not in a prescribed rotation, it can't be done. Remember the group that killed Carafim the Sleeper in EverQuest?
No.
No, I don't.
No, honestly.
Yes.
Shut up. No, you don't.
I know.
The monster the SOE said wasn't ever meant to be killed, but a group of hardcore raiders did just that, using a stratagem that wasn't already laid out in a video for them. This might never happen if our abilities for each class are dumbed down. Maybe SC will have helper arrows to point to the next ability we should use. I could feel that our Game of Thrones could possibly turn into My Little Pony if SC keeps catering to idiots.
I don't know if this is... There's parts of this email that, have merit, but then I don't think that they're dumbing down the system to be easier.
Right.
But ability bloat is a major problem that a lot of MMOs deal with. And I think what they're doing when they talk about this battle system revamp is, yes, they're removing ability bloat, but they're also planning on revamping the different jobs in ways that make them play uniquely. That does not mean easier. I mean, look at what happened to Black Mage in this previous expansion. Nobody's going to tell you that Black Mage is easier to play now.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think that I think you're hitting on something something important there.
I don't think my concern is so much that it'll be easier to play. It's just the continuing homogenization of the jobs. Everything's going to feel more samey than it already does.
That is, I think, the concern is that, yeah, every rotation ends up feeling the same, as opposed to, I mean, but Kahlo, you also make a really good point that ability bloat is a problem that needs to be addressed. So how do you do that without paring down some of these things?
You don't. You gotta pare things away.
That's right. And it's not like we're getting things pared down and not getting anything added between 60 and 70.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how you go about it every time. When there's a new expansion, if you're going up 10 levels, find the abilities that aren't popular, aren't being used, strip some out, and put some new ones in.
Right. Well, not to mention, I think that it's been a while, at least for me, since I've ever had to do what I would call a standard rotation. Nowadays, most things are priority-based rotation, so it's not just pressing the exact same buttons one or the other. You have to pay attention to what buffs you have up, what debuffs are up, and make sure that you're using the combination that is most beneficial to you in the moment. And there is skill to that as well.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Fern Dremmer of Sargentanis. What's up, Fern? Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio.
The Chocobro's back.
What?
What up?
The Chocobro?
You don't remember our good friend from New York?
Oh my God!
Oh no! Landis' twin.
Oh my gosh! the name threw me off.
Has anybody called you Chocobro before?
No, but people have noticed. People have noticed. I actually know a few other people on Discord who actually found out about that.
Okay.
Do you realize that people to this day think you are a bit that we made up on the show?
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, people think that you're a character kind of like, I'm a dragon over here. Like no one people think that you are Kahlo in another room calling the show.
Oh my gosh, people actually think I'm like one of those mysterious Discord bots.
That's right.
God, Nika's not here today. They're going to think that Nika is Rob.
Oh, that's it. We have a rotating cast list of who's going to play Rob this week. Anyway,
yeah,
Rob,
they
thanks
think
for
I'm
calling.
a random Discord bot programmed by the team.
There you go.
None of us know how to program.
Well, I mean,
if you can run a radio station, you can program.
Okay, sure. We'll go with that logic. Juxtaposition, what kind of logic is that? Tell me what kind of logic that is.
That's Rob logic,
okay.
Clearly.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right.
And before I forget, I had wanted to say something about the revamped free trial for 14.
Okay.
I noticed that I looked at what the difference is between what you get when you sub and what you don't, and the stuff that you get but you don't get in the trial. Among the things that I noticed, the chat restrictions. No tell, yell, or shouting. Now, I get that they're doing that probably because of the guild farmers. That's good for the people that don't want to get spammed in the chat and stuff. But how is anybody that subs supposed to know who's using the trial and who's subs?
Rob, can I need to ask just real quick. A long time ago when you called, you were still playing on a free trial. Are you on a free trial again, or are you a regular sub now?
No, what I'm saying is I had bought the full version sometime in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a trial account because it was ineligible. So I had to make an entirely different Square Enix account.
Okay.
The account I'm using is under the trial. The other account I had when I bought the game didn't work because it was, quote, ineligible according to Square Enix.
Okay. So right now you're playing on a trial account?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I got here. I have the full version for the client, but I'm doing a trial account with it.
Okay, well, do you have any... that's a good point, but we're running out of time because you heard that noise. That means we're running out of time for this caller, so...
Okay.
Oh, wow. So is there anything else you wanted to get to?
No, actually, I think that's it.
Okay.
But you know what? It's good to have fun in the studio for once.
Yeah, Rob. Are you in the studio with us?
Yeah, I'm right next to Carletta.
Oh,
I'm on the same table as her.
Oh, well, that clearly means that the time is running out, so we're probably going to have to let you go pretty quick here.
Go for it.
All right, well...
Rob,
Jesus.
Rob.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, Rob.
We're so sorry.
Oh, you hate to see that happen.
Yeah. Rob, thanks for the call. We appreciate it. Apparently, Fern Dremmer of Sargentanis.
The Choco Bro.
The Choco Bro.
Choco Bro.
Okay.
Say hi to him. Wave at him. Poke him.
Okay, Rob.
But you can't talk to him because he's on a trial cert account.
Oh, right.
Again.
I forgot about that.
Again.
Yeah, can we put that? Rob is still with us, still calling in the show, and still on a trial account somehow.
That's amazing. I don't know how that's done, but that's pretty incredible. All right, thanks for the call, Rob. We appreciate it. Let's go back to our emails, and we'll take a couple of more calls. If you want to call in, we've got 20 minutes left here in the show. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord.
We got to get to ERP, man.
All right, this next one comes from Ro Robin of Tonberry.
You mean fanfics?
Yeah, fanfics.
Hello, LBR. I've been listening to your show and subscribed on Patreon for some time now, and this is the first time I'm writing in. Hopefully, I'm doing this right.
No, you're not. You're bad.
Thank you for accompanying me through my work hours and being the voices I left playing through the night to ward away ghosts during my solo trip to FanFest recently. It seems that everyone is so caught up with whether or not jump potions will result in a lack of players getting practice, while leveling no one seems to be talking about the real issue here, experience. By experience, I don't mean the tedious number of times Duty Finder rolls you into Total Rock on leveling roulette. Let's admit it, we learned absolutely nothing from this dungeon. But rather the experience of completing old content. I'm not sure if anyone has had the same experience as I did, but I remember the days when I raged so hard while trying to clear Titan Horror mode, and when I did, the excitement of bringing new friends to try it too.
Now, this actually speaks to what Electabuzz was saying earlier when he called in, that people will when new content comes out and you've got people online, they're a little bit more willing to take you through the old stuff. I don't think that's true. There's no function or purpose that serves. We did not see that phenomenon happen in between 2.0 and 3.0. So I have and again, we had some of the finest endgame content that came along with A Realm Reborn. You would think that more people would have taken advantage of going through something like Binding Coil of Bahamut. But unless there was either a specific item that they were trying to get out of there, I'm thinking of the crafting items for a little bit,
or glamour,
but it just didn't happen on a mass scale or on a common level like I think that people think happens. It happens in other MMOs for sure. I experienced that plenty of times in FF11 myself, but it's just something that doesn't happen for 14. I think most players either get what they're going after, get their reward that they've been going after, and move on. They just move on to another fucking game.
Yep. Well, he goes on to say the multiple painful experience would then dominate most of the conversations we had. But it was fun and something we shared. And then Titan Extreme came along. Can you imagine the next fan fest where they play the songs like Under the Weight and a bunch of people will literally know nothing about this fight except that you spend a minute beating up a rock? Or Leviathan's theme song comes along and it's, oh, this is the battle, we must stand around and not hit anything. So yeah, I'm not sure that there's any way around it, but I feel, sure, whatever, just give us the jump potion. No one is really going to sit around discussing how we run in circles, kiting the ants in Cutter's Cry. But I hope they find a way to let us re-experience the old content just lying around. Not in the way we face roll it for in Wondrous Tales, but rather let us experience that 5-way landslide, the bombs, those fire and ice and T9, sliding around the floor in Shiva and rescuing our tanks from being frozen. Maybe some sort of monetary incentive for doing it synced on minimum item level the way it used to be or something. Just my thoughts. Do let me know what you guys think. Sorry, this email is blah, 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 blah. And actually, Robin, back when you sent this email, it hadn't been announced yet, but they have recently said that they do want to look at giving rewards or reasons to go back and do that older content, perhaps with the adventuring squadron that they've added.
Yeah, but that's not what this person is talking about. What they're talking about, again, they said that they don't want, it would be nice to be able to re-experience that content in a way where you don't end up going back and flattening it. And I think you would end up doing that if you took NPC characters in with you. What I think is... what I think is the source of his frustration and kind of the source of mine is that there is ostensibly no reason to go back and re-challenge content at the difficulty that it existed at.
Right.
When you say, give us a reason to go back and rediscover Titan X, well, okay, what is that reason? Like, what can Square Enix do outside of a hard requirement that rewinds the clock that either sets you at that level cap or sets you at that item cap that is able to recreate the same amount of challenge or the same memorable fight that you encountered 2 years ago.
Relic weapon books.
That I don't see what is the mechanism to make the community go back and do that, and how do you do it that makes it feel like fresh content for those of us that have already been doing all of this content every time it comes out?
That's $1 million question.
I don't feel like you can. It's you don't you exist in an eye level world where that eye level is always going up, and that's the downside. Your old content cycles out. You can put things like minimum eye level in there, or maximum eye level, I guess in this case, to make that happen, but what are you going to do? Offer people 100,000 gil if they can do it without that? No.
Well, that's the thing. Even if you do come up with a good reason people to do it, new glamour, a spiffy title, something like that, in most of those cases, it's still just going to be a go back and do it one time.
It does have to be incentivized in some way.
So we do it for that patch cycle, and then patches later, you're just asking the same question. Maybe let's go back and do Titan X.
And I'm not asking in a way where I'm like trying to be obnoxious or an asshole about it. I actually don't know what that mechanism is. I'm not smart. I'm not a game designer, and I'm not smart enough to be able to think my way out of that problem. But I wonder if there is. Like, I think that there probably is a way to overcome that problem, and Square Enix just hasn't found it yet.
Yeah.
Next email is from Bertov. Wow, what a last name. Silbarson. Listening to you guys in podcast form while I work. I listen live most Sundays, but I'm usually playing FF14 or 15 or Witcher, so it is mostly background noise. Wanted to comment on the what are you doing in game. I agree with Ani. Square is not really motivating me to play anymore. However, I'm still very compelled to play.
There's no question mark there, or you confused?
I don't understand it. Okay, so he feels like he should be playing.
Yeah.
I find it is my community that keeps me logging in and has daily since 2.0. I am a bad. I do not raid. I could care less about ideal openers, flawless rotations, or best in slot gear. So it goes without saying that I'm not raiding. Lately, I have been slow rolling my anima and doing PvP for Garo mounts. That stuff is fun, but not what keeps me logging in every day. I log in to chat with my FC. Shout out to Chocobo Legion. I love talking to people about the game, getting hype as...
You didn't work.
No, I didn't work.
You have to work.
Work?
Okay.
No, that's the FC name.
Well, it's still written there, so you're supposed to say it.
Work.
Okay.
There you go.
I love talking to people about the game, getting hype as new info comes out, bitching about SE's perceived missteps. Oh, Proto Ultima, the dreams of 24-man primals you crushed. I finished my anima and got my Black Machine Garo pony Sunday while I listened to you guys, so we'll have to find new slow goals to pretend I am not logging into a chat room a la 1995. I am thinking I'll trap some bird farm parties. So my advice is when SE lets you down, lean on your people and play on. May not work for everyone, but it does for me. Keep up the show. Still my favorite podcast, even when you got nothing nice to say about the game. Bert from Leviathan server.
That's funny. Well, no, that's great, Bert. And honestly, even after the call earlier from Knuckledew, I think that one of the strongest tools that you can have in an MMO or in a game that has some type of social component is a social safety net like that. If you have a Link Shell, a guild, whatever, that constantly logs on along with you, that can usually, in like 90% of cases, supplement the game not having content.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing as going and hanging out with friends. That's essentially what you're doing, is you're just hanging out. And whether you're doing old content like primals to get gear, or you're PvPing for Garo stuff, that's even not necessarily the reason that you're logging in. You're logging in to see and talk to these people, and that's great. The problem is that I think a lot of people are running into right now is that as individual people start to lose that drive to log in for content, one person drops here, one person drops there, and in some cases, even if you do have a cool, guild, less and less people are logging on, and every time one more person doesn't, that could be, the reason that somebody else was logging in.
Well, I agree. I think it is good to have that social aspect, but I think SE really undermines that in FF14 with the existence of Duty Finder and stuff like that. When you're not forced to rely on those people to run content with, they kind of just are people you talk to.
Yeah, matchmaking is a big knock to the community.
Yeah, Link Shells felt important in 11 because you needed them. That's who you ran your content with. It's all you, like, if you were pugging most content in 11, it was a nightmare. I'm not saying impossible, but it was a nightmare.
Is there a reason to talk to another human being in this game anymore?
Yeah, duh.
What?
Well, to yell at him for messing up and ERP.
No, but I mean, like, to play FF14, as an MMO to remain competitive in the community. Is there anything is there any point where you have to interact with another human being to get anything
outside of raiding? No.
We need to get rid of the chat feature in dungeons.
You know what? Let's just get rid of the chat feature altogether.
There's no more chatting in this game.
No more chatting.
Just emotes.
Just emotes.
I love
pre-chosen.
I don't know who it was. Someone on Twitter had some kind of headcanon that the competitive nature of PvP for FF14 and trying to bring it into esports proper was the reason that that Square Enix ended up removing the chat feature from the feast.
Yeah, now Escalia pointed out that in professional esports you can't use in-game chat functions, which is fine because you're actually talking to your teammates. But in every other aspect of it, League of Legends, Dota, Overwatch, anything, you can still chat if you're not in a professional setting. So whoever said that is an idiot.
Yeah, right. Like it doesn't affect everyone else's matches, right?
Yeah,
like
it's only in tournament play. Yeah,
right.
you can't chat.
So it's really odd, and I'm also fascinated by this idea that Square Enix wants to make the feast an esport.
Well, no, I mean, like,
there's no way.
That was a guy referring to a player-run event. I don't know what the hell he was talking about. That Aether Cup thing is what he's talking about?
Yeah.
If Joe is still in the chat, maybe he can tell us about it. I couldn't find any link to that being run by Essie. It was on Reddit, and it just looked like a player-run tournament for esports.
But I mean, even people at FanFest were saying that they wanted that Square Enix might be making a run to make the feast an esport, which I think is insane.
Yeah, I don't know that the feast quite has the complexity or the depth to carry an esport.
Maybe that will change with Stormblood's new abilities.
Yeah, maybe that'll change with Blitzball. Maybe that'll become an esport.
Yes. You don't know that.
Actually,
it's not confirmed.
Actually, I would dig that.
Oh my God.
Moving on to our next email from Valalian Valadore. Hello, everyone there at LBR. This is Valalian from Adamantoy server. I just recently got back in FF14 due to some friend yanking me back into this cocaine-fueled addiction. Anywho, I just started listening to LBR.
Okay, that's strong.
I just started listening to LBR Radio Returns. I was a fan back in the FF11 days. I'm currently on episode 3. It helps listening to the funny shit while grinding out levels. I'm going to do a throwback here and remind everyone that Juxtaposition has a small penis. He said so himself. Looking forward to catching up on episodes.
We know. We
forgot about him.
We actually remind him of that drop as often as we can.
Yeah.
We use that on several intros. You'll hear it. Don't worry. As you'll go on in episodes, you'll end up hearing it. I wonder where they're at in this listen. It's been 2 months since this email was sent.
You know what? I feel like maybe we should redo the intro where every element is Juxtaposition as a small penis.
Could do that.
All right, cool.
I'm not going to do it for this episode.
No, that's too short a notice. You have way too much work.
Yeah.
You got other stuff to do.
I do indeed. Let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Alex Dragonsword of Zalera. What's going on, Alex?
Hey, guys.
Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio. What's up?
I just wanted to talk about some Stormblood theories and some stuff. I mean, because basically I've gotten all my shit I've needed for Stormblood prep. I've got my Ironworks stuff for Samurai and Red Mage. I've got my Paladin Anima. I've got my Crafters leveled. I've got my shit done. So I just wanted to talk about some theories and shit I had about the expansion areas.
All right, let's hear it.
Real quick. You've got 6 weeks still.
Yeah.
And you're all done?
Well, not really, but I'm at the point where it's basically I just level stuff for the next.
Yeah, he's done. He's done.
Yeah.
He's done.
There's nothing left.
Yeah, no. If that's what you're doing, you're done. You're caught up. You're ready. You can embrace that and admit it. All right. So, what are some of your theories, and are any of them based on the video that we saw today?
Well, one of them is.
All right.
But the first theory is remember that little bit of little picture of Xeno Sid Galvus that we got at the end of 3.56.
Yeah.
I think that's Yida.
This was actually something that we touched on a couple of episodes ago, where someone had brought this up that the person in the man, like, we only see their mouth. It's very androgynous. Their hair is blonde, and that the real Yida, the original Yida, disappeared five-ish years ago. Okay, so if you think that Xenos is Yida, do you think that Yida is a genuine villain and now a genuine Garlean sympathizer, or do you think it's going to be something more along the lines of Thancred, where Thancred was being controlled by an Ascian and therefore not responsible for his actions while he was being controlled?
Well, I think it's probably the former, that she's full-on Garlean. Like, she's been there for probably like a few years. She probably
would have been 5 or 6 at this point, because she
probably got like tortured and stuff. She's like, all right, fine, I'll help you, and then like grudgingly, like, I'll help you, and then eventually you like eased into it and became evil and shit.
Interesting. That's it's an interesting theory, and
because for all we know, she might think Lise is dead.
That's true. I think it's a damn good theory. It's one that I favored when it had first come up on the show. And I'm going to be although I'm going to be a little bit bummed if we call it here, because I think that the reveal makes it a little bit obvious. Like, if it's that obvious to us this far out.
Keep in mind, we've never actually seen a Garlean outside of Nero without his helmet on.
No, we've seen
Nail, right?
We've seen Nail. Well, it wasn't Nail that was Nail's sister. We've also seen Lucia.
Yep.
And Sid. Thank you.
But
That was the other one.
an actual like Garlean that we have fought against, like
we did. In the most recent,
like, we never saw what Gaius looked like under his mask.
In the most recent patch, didn't we fight a guy where we saw his face?
Was that
he didn't have a helmet though?
But was that the same guy that we had fought in the 2.0 storyline?
No, that dude is dead.
We murdered that.
You see him die.
Yeah, because I think that's what Ascalia was saying, that it was the same guy.
No. I was just saying, like, we've seen his face. I'm like,
I don't think that's the same guy.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Okay.
On to the next theory. With Rauger's Reach, I think the reason the Garleans actually haven't managed it, haven't just destroyed them yet, is because Rauger's Reach actually goes down so many fucking levels, like a huge cave network underneath, that they can't actually get all of them out.
That very well may be possible, and actually plays into some of the things that we saw today. That
the thing is, they look like they're all carved out of the rock, and they have deep, looks like it goes deep. Yeah,
and it's funny because Ascalia, you had actually made the link to Return of the King, where we saw Gondor for the first time. But I think maybe it's a little bit more like Minas Tirith. If indeed it is like Alex thinks that it might be, and it goes deep, or it is carved deep into that mountain, then it would actually be closer to a Minas Tirith than a Gondor.
That's the dwarf city?
Because you see all these ruins in Ulta and shit where they're just carved into the mountain. So
yeah. Yeah. No, Minas Tirith was where the two towers stand off.
I've have the thought there's that would make an awesome dungeon if they ever made a dungeon out of that at some point.
Yeah. All right, we got time for one more theory, Alex. What's your last theory here?
Well, with the Garlean gate in Doma or Althard or whatever the fuck that is, I think what those in the benchmark, the Kojin are riding these giant stingray looking things.
Yeah, the Cletus.
What I think that happened is that those things are a combination of Magitech and Allegan technology, in some combination of Garlean and Allegan.
Interesting.
And for some reason, the Beast Tribe gets a whole we make a deal with the Kojin to get the explosives or whatever to get rid of them.
I don't know. That doesn't strike. That doesn't strike me as being Allegan or Garlean.
Yeah, it seems something distinct from either one of them.
Well, keep in mind, we have a lot of ancient civilizations in this game, some of which we've never actually fully explored.
That's more my guess. I see that as being more like the Mach of that area. You know what I mean? The Makai?
Yeah. I mean, we might find a Mach / and Amdipori region in, like, somewhere because, you know, Red Mage is... got away from there and they just strapped in one area.
It's possible going north into Girabanya, but as soon as we go over to Othard, we have no idea what's over there. None. Absolutely no concept of what the civilizations or the histories were over there. Because remember, even calamities were fairly localized to Eorzea. So, you know, the calamities that shaped civilizations and the civilization resets that we got with
even if we had calamities in our little area, like the fucking ether of the world or whatever you want to call it, is like still like radiates outwards and like might have fucked up Doma and Othard and all this other shit.
We have no. That's the thing, is that we have no concept of what is happening on Othard, or if the calamities that we've experienced on Eorzea have had an impact on Othard. We have. They
might have had their own calamity.
Exactly. They may have had their own set of calamity and even mark time differently. We just don't know. We know that there is travel from Rads at Hand, and that, you know, people have been coming from Rads at Hand to Eorzea. We know that the Domans have come to Eorzea, but mostly Othardians, we just have no concept of what their history or their timeline is.
Actually, I just had a thought. It could be from Thanavir.
Thanavir? It could be. It very well could be. Yeah.
Because, I mean, if Girabanya is the Middle East and, like, Ul'dah, for instance, is, like, Egypt or something, then, like, that would be kind of like India or, like, that country. Like, they have a lot, like, India and China, like, a long time ago, they had, like, trade routes and shit, so you never know.
Yeah, I do see... I do see that landmass, Thavnir, as a bit more of like a trade route pass-through. And from what I understand, someone did say there was a statement somewhere in maybe a live letter or an interview that eventually we might actually end up seeing that or going there, which I think is a really interesting prospect. You know, maybe not as a full-on zone, but in some way it's going to be represented, you know, in the expansion itself. But yeah, I mean, it is entirely possible, it is entirely conceivable that the calamities that we have seen impact Eorzea's not just geographical landscape, but cultural landscape, might also end up impacting what happens in other peninsulas, in other areas of the entire planet, but we don't know for sure. So we don't know if, say, the same calamity that, you know, ended up wiping out the Makai and the Amdipori ended up having any kind of impact on Othardian soil or any of the Othardian cities.
My guess would be no, because we look around, we don't see remnants of what happened to the Makai where we are in Eorzea.
Not just that, but if you take our calamity, the one that we experienced as an example, and look at the destruction and how widespread it is still only localized to parts of Korthus and most of you know, the 2.0 zones. There are 3.0 zones that are completely untouched by the calamity. Exactly. Well, Ishgard did experience it. You've got the nail. You've got other pieces. You know, you've got the massive weather changes that happen in Korthus. But when you work farther up into like the hinterlands, or when you work up into Sea of Clouds, those were not impacted. We don't see chunks of Dalamud, you know, sticking out of the ground when you go into the hinterlands. You don't come outside of Idleshire here and look around and see, oh man, that's where that big impact crater was. That if you use that as a model, it seems that the calamities are the damage from them are fairly localized. Like, they're not always as big or wide-reaching or as apocalyptic as maybe they're portrayed to be, or as we think they are, or as maybe they have the potential to be. And I certainly think that if there is a limited range to what the explosion of Dalamud and the releasing of Bahamut did, and that classifies as a calamity, and that qualifies as a calamity, and there's no how would that have impacted Authored?
Do we know that calamities, as we consider them, because we've had 7 of them now, that those exist outside of our historical sort of area of expertise or whatever?
Well, I mean,
I think when you go back and look at the Allagans might have been the only civilization that, because I think they had control of all 3 of the peninsulas, and then had started to push down into Mericidia as well.
Mm-hmm. But we know that Allagan influence was withering long before their calamity actually happened.
Is true.
They were already having trouble maintaining their empire well before any of that happened.
That is true, and we've seen no evidence of anything even remotely resembling an Allagan structure on Authored. Mm-hmm. So their influence may have been because that's the other big mystery is what is exactly the Garlean Empire sitting on top of. We have no concept, no idea of what Garlemald actually looks like.
We've seen Garlemald once, haven't we?
In a few cutscenes.
In an opening cutscene in the original game.
No.
In 2.0, I'm sorry. Don't you see it like the first time you take off in the airship, you see a glimpse of Garlemald, and that's it?
No.
That's not Garlemald?
What are you talking about?
When you first take off on an airship in 2.0. On your first airship ride in 2.0.
It switches to a cutscene. We see, supposedly that's probably in Garlemald somewhere, but it doesn't show us a picture or a scene of Garlemald at large.
But it's inside of a structure, though, right? Like, it's not because
it's like a dropship landing or something like that, and someone gets
it's outside at nighttime.
What the fuck? I do not remember this.
It literally could be just a castrum somewhere.
It could. It could be a castrum.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. At all.
It was a long time ago, and you'd only see it the one time.
Yeah, they don't execute someone who's supposedly a spy or something.
Might have been that. I don't. It's like I said, a long time ago. Yeah. I was level 14 when I saw it.
I remember what you're talking about.
I remember a very few scenes with the Emperor and
chat's qualifying. That was Castrum Occidents.
Okay, there you go. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Fair enough.
So
idiot.
So no,
I've never seen Garlemald. To my knowledge.
I think that even the art for Garlemald is still. There might only be one image, and I don't even know where it's sourced from. We don't know anything, and again, it's shrouded in cloud on the full map. We're not supposed to know anything about it. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be a mystery, so we don't know how much of the Garlean Empire is built on top of existing Allagan structures or technology, because clearly they have the Magitech game cornered.
Sure do.
And that, if they didn't come up with that, I mean, I know that Sid and his family is responsible for at least a good portion of that, but, it does seem in some way maybe derived from Allagan technology. So, yeah, we just don't know. We don't know what's there. Mm-hmm. And it seems like, the Allagans did not have that much of a presence pushing into Authored.
Man, I can't wait for 5.0.
Come on, bro.
It's interesting. I think
Garlemald,
I think that this is some really interesting stuff and presents some really interesting possibilities. By the way, thanks for the call, Alex. We appreciate it. Let's take one more. I know that we're a little bit over time. We got to make this quick. So
I have one that I'd really like to read.
Ordric, welcome to Limit Break Radio of Midgar Summer. Hey, what's up? Welcome to Limit Break Radio. What's up? Hi, bud.
You there? You there, bro?
Woohoo!
You might be muted.
Unmute yourself. 10.
No.
9. Get the Sonic. Yeah, oh, thanks for just making it with your mouth.
Sorry, man.
Like we don't have it as a drop.
Oh no!
It gets as it gets more frantic, it gets really loud.
Yeah,
I noticed that before. All
right, bye.
I guess no more calls for today.
All right. Well, I have a short email.
Okay. All right. It better be quick.
This comes from our longtime fan and supporter, Evil. Actually, I don't know if he supports us. This comes from Evil Hippie. Hey guys and gals.
I think he supports us for $1. I think I read that on Twitter.
Cool.
When I decided to take a nap, he's like, "This is what my $1 buys me."
I just want to point out that I have not logged in since DDM 2.0 dropped because the weapons pissed me off. I plan on going another 10 weeks without logging in, and when I do, I will still be on par with every single other player in the game. Let that sink in a second. Outside of a game for almost 3 months total, and still on par with every player that logs in every day. This is bullshit. Sent with love and devotion, Evil Hippie.
You're not wrong.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll have my raid gear, and you'll still just be as good as I am. Whatever.
It doesn't help that you're a scholar. And
He'll actually, depending on how quickly he gets through content, may be better than you faster. Because I mean, you're starting over on Red Mage.
Oh.
You're going to have the problem that I had, where my attention was split. Or actually, no, I heaped all of my attention into Dark Knight and quit doing everything else.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, at first there won't be any rating to do, so I will be able to put all my attention to Red Mage.
Okay, yeah, so you're right. But the thing is, you're going to have to stay gear current for Dragoon.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
Yeah, I mean, no, because as soon as the normals hit, I'll just get my gear out of there.
But what are you spending tomes on?
You're not going to level Dragoon, are you?
Yeah. I'm going to have them both leveled. Are you kidding me?
He's got to be ready for his stat.
What the fuck kind of red mage are you?
A better one than you.
Whatever. Not if he has fucking Dragoon in his pocket.
Nice comeback, by the way. Whatever.
Whatever.
Man.
My dad could beat up your dad.
I am rubber, you are glue.
Nice. Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to have both Dragoon and Red Mage leveled up.
So what?
I don't know which one I'll need for raid.
What are you going to spend tomes on?
Oh, I want to spend it on Red Mage.
Well, but don't you already have a Red Mage? Didn't someone already claim Red Mage in your raid static?
Yep.
So there's no way.
No, that solves it. That solves it. I can do raid gear for Dragoon and tomes for Red Mage, because I won't be able to take the Red Mage gear.
Oh, but you're not going to have...
So your raid is going to allow you to spend your tomestones on a job you're not coming?
That sounds like a GIMP. That's a GIMP fucking raid static right there.
Wow, no wonder they can't clear when it's current.
Yeah.
I have no idea if they'll let me or not.
Jeez.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. You don't say they let you. You say, this is what I'm going as. Deal with it, motherfucker.
Jesus.
I'm a Scalia from Lemon Break Radio. I'm more important than all of you.
Wow.
I've pulled that out of my bag a couple of times.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah?
I mean...
I'll try it out.
It's worked before.
You're not in a raid group now, I notice.
Yeah.
By choice.
Okay.
He chooses not to be.
Not how I remember the story, but okay.
He gets offers all the time.
That's right.
Oh.
I could run if I really wanted to.
I'm beating him off with a stick. I just don't have the time.
I'm swamped, man. I can't right now.
Everything with checkpoint, I'm just so busy.
I understand.
That actually is legitimate. It sounds like I am making fun of it, but it is. I'm fucking exhausted doing checkpoint.
When's the FFL coming back? Not right now.
Nope.
That thing where I have to do a bunch of work on Monday and Tuesday? Nope. Pass.
Forget it. I mean, I've got to, dude, before I leave, I've got to go to a wake tonight. We've already gone over time.
Oh.
Do your job!
And I've got to record an esports minute because guess who called me? Guess who called me while the show was live?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it your dad that my dad can beat up?
Yes, that's exactly who it was.
His dad called during the
really?
show.
Yeah.
Why?
What
did he want?
Did
he want the esport minute? Because that doesn't make any sense at all.
No, he wanted to acquiesce to your dad already. He didn't want the fight to happen.
That makes so much sense. All right, that's fair.
Yeah, see? I'm connecting dots that people didn't have any idea. Anyway, Thanks so much for joining us today. Thank you to all of our callers, even Ordric, who apparently
wasted 30 seconds of our life.
Oh, and really quick to Knuckledew from earlier, or Electabuzz, or whatever the fuck your name was.
Buckleman.
Buckleman, grow some balls and actually send us that email you wrote, because we know you still have it tucked away somewhere, and post that YouTube comment as well.
Come forth, coward!
No, I gotta give him credit, because honestly, not that many people try to
call in with a dissenting opinion,
right?
Even though that opinion was assenting in this case.
Well, I mean, wait, what?
Buckleman, move past it.
Anyway, but again, I mean, you know, when the other shows that you hear from Final Fantasy XIV creators seem to be trying to either err on the side of caution or just ridiculously praising the game that hasn't earned it, I think that, you know, I end up looking at Limit Break Radio as an opportunity to kind of offset that attitude a little bit. And so, yeah, if we seem a little bit more cynical than other shows, I mean, first of all, look, we proved today with the video we have a willingness to talk about stuff that other shows do not. You know, I don't know.
Not to mention, we got pretty excited for what we saw in the video.
Exactly.
Like, when we get excited, we'll actually be excited. This is the first time we've been excited in a long time.
That was the kind of the point that I was working towards.
You're welcome.
Is that when we do bring out excitement, you know that it's genuine. You know that it's real, because we're being real with you about how we feel about stuff. Like, yeah, we do try to guide discussions so that, you know, there is representations on both sides. And I know that we do tend to get kind of cynical about this game as well. But when there is stuff out there that does deserve to be praised or that is interesting, we generally go out of our way to highlight it, and we go out of our way to talk about it. We talked about it with the leaked Zone Dats today. We'll do it again next week with Limit Breaking Music. That's always a segment that gets a lot of positivity from us, because the community just makes ridiculously awesome content when it comes to the music side. I mean, for as much talent as Soken has, you guys who are in the remix scene and making, you know, cover versions of FF14 music, you guys are doing awesome work as well, and we love the ability to be able to highlight that. So, you know, we do want to give praise where praise is due, but that's the thing, is that if your show is only all praise, you don't know what you can trust. Like when the game actually does do something well, and you're not excusing what it does poorly, then you don't know when the praise is genuine. At least with us, you know when we're legitimately hyped or excited off of something. And I think that, I don't know, I think that means something. Whether you do or not, that's up to you. Again, thank you to all of our callers today. Patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. If you want to help support the show and make sure that the show continues, and help support our other properties. Again, you know, Final Encountercast is done because of your support, and you know, we got the opportunity with Checkpoint Radio to be able to launch that show because of your support. So we can't thank you enough. And if you want to join the LB Army, Patreon.com/Limit Break Radio is where you can go do that. Also, coming up after this show wraps up, Checkpoint Radio will be live. Kooky will be hosting it. You can also check it out over on our Shoutcast server if you want. We've got an awesome show this week, and we talked to the Esports Integrity Coalition Commissioner Ian Smith, as well as a whole bunch of other interesting segments. That's two more hours of gaming talk from us here at Limit Break Radio. So if you want to stick around for that, or head on over to checkpointradio.com and subscribe to the official Checkpoint podcast. We did not get to fan fictions.
Oh,
it was on the schedule.
It really was. We had that was
sloppy.
We had that intention, but we had a couple of more calls that we wanted to take, as well as that video was took a little bit longer to get through than I think any of us expected. There was a lot of really good theory crafting based off of that, and a lot of good discussion that I did not want to cut short.
It's for the best too, because a bunch of those fan fictions involve Nika, and she really should be here for those reasons. Because there's one that pairs her with Skuro.
That's fair.
And she needs to be here to experience
That's fair. We need, I mean, half of the fun of that segment is making Nika uncomfortable with it. So, anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate you joining us here for the show today. Again, thank you to everyone who called and everyone who emailed hosts@limitbreakradio.com if you want to send us email. Stay tuned. Checkpoint Radio is coming up next live here on twitch.tv/limitbreakradio. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you go send us some iTunes love and leave a review of the show. That's going to be it. I want to thank my crew, Kooky Persona, who's been answering phones, as well as my in-studio crew, Escalia Rayumasa, Juxtaposition, Kala Landis. I'm an hero. Keep listening. Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. This episode was produced by Kooky Persona. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. Funding for Limit Break Radio is provided by Miri Kennett, Satori Komeji, Dark Flux, Null Package, Shira Heartslot, and fellow Limit Break Radio listeners. To support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/LimitBreakRadio. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music in this episode provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV and video game rock covers and original music at facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. In-game graphics for Limit Break Radio's Twitch stream are provided by Diamond Multimedia. Check out their line of AMD graphics cards and other hardware at diamondmm.com. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.